026. Brother Lin. They are allies. Let them in. Li Ming spoke to Lin Tian. Lin Tian nodded. At this moment, the particle shield generator has been moved by him to the flat ground of Huban camp. However, he did not remove the shield. Anyway, the battery life can last for 1 year. In order to prevent any accidents with the follow-up gadgets, Lin Tian didn't turn it off. Now he even only needs a thought, without having to fiddle with the shield generator, to give the Cloud Cavalry Army permission to pass. Lin Tian himself could not explain how this was done. Perhaps this is the mythical nature of this prop. After the Yunqi army obtained the entry permit, Zhang Peng also found that he and others could actually pass through the golden light shield. Zhang Peng jumped off his mount at a height of 100 meters from the ground. Boom! This is the roar of his landing. Professionals who are close to rank 4 are fighters, which are known for their violence. It is not an exaggeration to say that his current physical fitness is half superhuman. He landed from a height of 100 meters without any injuries. He walked up to Li Ming aggressively and said angrily, "What's going on? Give me an explanation." Zhang Peng glared at Li Ming. From the corner of the eye, he also saw every soldier in the entire Huban battalion sweeping up. His mother is really evil. Not only the beast tide disappeared. How come Li Ming's men don't even have a wounded person? "Oh, old Zhang, you are still so violent. Come, sit." The beast tide ended more than half an hour ago. I only informed my colleagues in the Iron Wall Army who came to support from other base cities, so that they don't need to support them. We haven't seen each other for several years. I don't want to see you again, so I didn't inform you. Haha, come on, drink this cup. Li Ming filled the glass for his old friend, but he refused to answer Zhang Peng's question at all. Zhang Peng, F***ku. I won't drink. What's going on with this golden shield? Where did you get the equipment? Why, I don't even know. Also, why don't you even have a wounded person here? Why is there no beast tide? Can those fierce beasts die violently by themselves? Li Ming still gave him a smile, showing 8 big white teeth. Well, I have no comment. Into the night, Zhang Peng returned to his Cloud Cavalry station. Today, there is an urgent mission to help Jiangning. So Zhang Peng's training at night was also cancelled. He lay on the bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. He is actually a super obsessive-compulsive disorder, especially when encountering things that he cannot understand. He will ask the end even if he breaks the casserole. It's a pity that Li Ming was so tight-lipped. No matter whether he was intimidating, he just refused to speak. At this moment, he is still full of question marks. What happened to Jiangning? Zhang Peng didn't know nothing. The video of Jiangning miraculously surviving the beast tide without injury is now everywhere on the phone. Several topics related to Jiangning even rushed to the hot searches. All the experts, professors, and various historians in Longhua are analyzing why Jiangning was able to deal with the beast tide so quickly. Among them, the statement that can get the most support from the public is that Jiangning is a place of divine sanctuary. It is rumored that if a certain place has a saint in history, or has a relationship with certain religions and theology, after Blue Star gamified this place, it became a so-called sanctuary. As the name suggests, the sanctuary of the gods is blessed by the gods. When any natural disasters or beast tides occur, miracles will occur in the sanctuary to help the people living in this place to tide over the difficulties. Whether it is the absolute defensive golden shield covering the entire city, or several terrifying explosions that happened inexplicably, it's all the handwriting of the gods. However, some people who saw the clues analyzed that the shield did not appear out of thin air. From a bird's eye view, it can be clearly seen that there is a golden origin of the shield emanating from Jiangning. In addition, before the Big Bang, someone used a magnifying glass to watch the live video. You can see that there is an extremely concealed military drone in the sky. And before the explosion, the drone seems to have dropped something. So, this school of thought thinks the truth of the matter is that both shields and explosions are some sort of powerful weapon at work. The two sides are arguing endlessly on the internet. But Zhang Peng was more willing to believe in the latter. Is Jiangning a place of divine sanctuary? Nonsense. If this broken place is really a place of divine sanctuary, he would write the word Zhang Peng upside down. Tossing and turning, Zhang Peng couldn't fall asleep. When he thought of Li Ming's statement that this matter was top secret, and there was no comment, he gritted his teeth with hatred. So, he didn't sleep anymore. Anyway, he couldn't fall asleep anymore. So he got up on the spot, rode his mount overnight, and flew to Linan, the capital city of Dongjiang province. Who knew that Zhang Peng had just arrived at the Linan army headquarters? just bumped into his immediate superior of the Great Wall Army, and a group of people from the Dongjiang Education Department and the professional union formed a joint investigation team. Zhang Peng found out after inquiring. It turned out that the higher-ups also noticed Jiang Ning's extraordinariness. The Dongjiang Provincial Department was ordered overnight to form an investigation team and start the investigation process. Go and find out how Jiang Ning survived this beast-tide incident. If Jiangning is really a place of divine sanctuary, then maybe the entire Dongjiang province will be replaced by a new provincial capital base city. All future development of Dongjiang province will revolve around Jiangning. Even Jiangning may become the top class among the more than 300 base cities in the country within a year. This is also a major development opportunity for Dongjiang. Zhang Peng can only be regarded as a small shrimp in front of the big bosses of the investigation team. But he has a thick skin, and the investigation team is led by the military, and the team leader is a certain leader of his Great Wall Army. In the end, Zhang Peng still got mixed into this investigation team. Follow the others and head to Jiangning together. Zhang Peng felt that his thoughts had become clear. Following these big bosses, there was no way Li Ming, a stinky brother, would not tell him the answer. 027. Early the next morning, Lin Tian got stuck. When all the office staff in the job transfer hall went to work, he immediately went to the job transfer hall. He didn't forget that he was already able to take on a mission. For a life professional like Lin Tian, one turn is the limit for most people. Awaken a career branch, and then awaken another branch every turn. With 2 career branches, supporting a family is no longer a problem. Enter the transfer hall. Under the guidance of the staff in the hall, Lin Tian came to the room where the job-changing God Stone was. Reach out and touch the job-changing God Stone. Lin Tian soon received the idea sent back by the God Stone, who changed his job, detecting the type of professional, checking the professional level, checking professional branch skills. Congratulations, you have reached LV10. You can receive the mission of the first rank. Do you want to receive it? Lin Tian sent the idea of confirming receipt in his heart. The next moment, the job-changing God Stone emitted a faint fluorescence. You have received the pharmacy branch mission. After completing the task, you will successfully change jobs. Professional transfer task, 1/4, turn in 5 golden alfalfa. There are 4 rings in the job transfer task. Lin Tian's first 2 ring tasks were to hand in specific materials, and these materials are not too precious. Lin Tian didn't bother the school or the education department anymore. He just got a huge sum of 10 million. Lin Tian went directly to Jiangning's firm and spent a small amount of money to buy all the materials. Completed the first 2 ring tasks. When it came to the 3rd ring mission, Lin Tian had no choice but to ask Su Tianlong for help. The task requirement of the 3rd ring is to hand over the creations of the 2 engineering formulas that Lin Tian has awakened. The TB1 grenade is okay to say. It is mainly the particle shield generator, excluding the colorful fluorite, and the total value of other materials exceeds 2 million dragon coins. Really too expensive. Student Lin Tian, what's the matter? Do you need help? Lin Tian nodded. Mr. Su, I took the task of the first round and completed the first 2 links. Now the 3rd link requires me to submit the 2 engineering creations I have unlocked so far. Su Tianlong looked happy. Have you reached level 10? Are you ready to turn around? Why didn't you tell us? Lin Tian rubbed his nose. When I cleaned up the beast horde before, all the experience was counted on me. So I have been promoted to level 10. The main reason is that I don't want to trouble you with everything, so... Nonsense. Su Tianlong was a little displeased, and then seemed to feel that his tone was serious, so he lowered his tone and continued. Now you are our Jiangning hero and the future of our Dragon Kingdom. It is our job to provide you with the required materials and help you complete the job change. You can't act like this in the future. Other materials are easy to handle, but colorful fluorite, well, wait. Su Tianlong picked up the phone on the table, called the subordinate who was sent to Linen to help Lin Tian buy colorful fluorite. Soon, a smile appeared on Su Tianlong's face. He hung up the phone and said with a smile, the colorful fluorite is fine. The store in Linen has the goods, so there's no need to shop. The courier will arrive at noon today. Afternoon. Lin Tian took the completed particle shield generator and an engineering grenade and submitted them to the job-changing Godstone. Congratulations on completing the first job change, the 3rd ring task. Now you can check out the 2 new recipes unlocked by the pharmacy branch in advance. Let out a sigh of relief. Every time you complete a job transfer task, you will be rewarded with a new skill or formula that will be unlocked soon. Except that it cannot be manufactured normally, other functions have been opened. This is also to let professionals familiarize themselves with new things in advance. Lin Tian opened his professional skill panel and saw the column of his professional branch. A field for pharmacy has appeared. Clicking on the pharmacy menu, Lin Tian saw 2 new formulas that were about to be unlocked. Blood recovery potion, blue recovery potion. Sure enough, the initial formula of pharmacy. The final stage task is released. Professional transfer task, 4/4. Go to the dark jungle dungeon and participate in killing the boss corrupted Wolf King. How about it? What materials are needed for the last mission? It's not materials. The last mission requires me to clear a dungeon called Dark Forest. Su Tianlong fell into deep thought when he heard this. Dark jungle. He has never heard of this dungeon. Just when he was going to repeat the same trick and let the people under him go to check the information, Lin Tian found out that the job-changing Godstone had given the mission guidance intimately this time. Dark dense forest, 10-player dungeon with king-level difficulty. Dungeon entrance. In a forest somewhere 245.4 kilometers away from you. Lin Tian told Su Tianlong the information of the dungeon. Su Tianlong was stunned. Is it a dungeon around Jiangning? Then it is impossible for me not to know that there is this dungeon, unless this dungeon is newly generated. After the gamification of Blue Star, many monsters appeared from the cracks in different dimensions. These dimensional rifts lead to another separate dimension, or even another universe. Therefore, these cracks later became the entrances of many dungeons. The last time a large-scale interdimensional rift appeared and a large number of copies emerged, it was the beginning of the cataclysmic era. In the past 10 years, many scholars have found that the space of the entire Blue Star has become more and more unstable. The second big eruption period of the interdimensional rift is likely to come soon. Suddenly, Su Tianlong seemed to think of something. Isn't the crack in another dimension the root cause of this Jiangning beast tide? Everything makes sense. The directions of the dozens of different dimensional cracks that suddenly appeared that were detected by the people of the Huban camp before were in the same direction as the direction marked by Lin Tian's 4th ring mission. King-level difficulty. 10 copies. This difficulty is definitely not easy. 028. Noon. A group of 10-member team of professionals, whose aura is extraordinary at first glance, entered Jiangning City. The headed one could see a bit of weather-beaten in his brows and eyes. But he is still walking like a dragon and a tiger, and he is full of energy. Hu Hua is a lieutenant general in the military department of Dongjiang province, who belongs to the Great Wall Army system, and is also the leader of the investigation team this time. Let's split up and visit the citizens of Jiangning. Hu Hua intends to assign tasks. At this moment, Zhang Peng smiled and said, Mr. Hu, there's no need to be so troublesome. Su Tianlong, director of Jiangning's education department, and Li Ming, commander of the Iron Wall Army. They all know the truth of the matter. There's no need to go to visit and investigate anymore. Just go to them for random interrogation. Just reveal our identities. Hu Hua pondered for a moment. Finally agreed. He always likes to be straightforward, and if he is really asked to do some secret visits and investigations, he will find it troublesome. After more than 10 minutes. Top floor. In Su Tianlong's office, 10 people from Linen who were investigating linen on behalf of Dongjiang all filed in. Su Tianlong adjusted his glasses on the bridge of his nose. He stopped what he was doing. At this moment, he was at his desk, typing on the keyboard with his fingers, obviously writing some material report. Hu Hua showed his special investigation team work card on his chest and said righteously, Director Su, can I take up some of your time? We want to ask you a few questions about the Jiangning Beast Tide incident. Su Tianlong suddenly smiled with relief. Originally, even if you didn't come, I would continue to report this matter. Actually, I should have reported it a few days ago, but I have been busy and couldn't get away. Now I have the opportunity to write the report. You are in a hurry than me. I don't need to write this report. Sit down. Don't stand there. Let's talk. Hu Hua and others sat down. Zhang Peng's face was also a little excited. The idea is clear. Finally know the truth. After Hu Hua sat down, he went straight to the point and said, It seems that you do know the ins and outs of the matter. I just asked directly, is Jiangning a place of divine sanctuary? A look of surprise appeared on Su Tianlong's face, then suddenly laughed. Ha ha ha, it seems that you are really thinking too much. Look at our place. Does it seem to have any historical origins and myths and legends? Hu Hua closed his eyes. To be honest, he felt a little lost. He really hoped that his Dongjiang province would really have a place of divine sanctuary. Hu Hua. So, Jiangning is indeed not a place of divine sanctuary. Su Tianlong. That's right. We are not a sanctuary of gods, but there are gods. As soon as this sentence came out, in an instant, Hu Hua's eyes straightened. The rest of the group reacted similarly. On such a serious occasion, and he and others were interrogating Su Tianlong. He's not kidding. Seeing everyone's reaction, Su Tianlong chuckled and said, "You are just here to investigate why we were able to wipe out the beast horde without any injuries, and at the same time, the entire city of Jiangning was safe and sound. It's okay to tell you the reason, but you need to make a blood oath of secrecy." While Su Tianlong was speaking, he took out 10 sheets of paper engraved with mysterious runes and spells from his drawer. The so-called blood oath of secrecy is a contract to keep secrets. The oath-taker only needs to sign his name on the contract, and then soak the special paper of the contract with a drop of blood. Then the blood oath will take effect. The oath-taker must keep the secret for life, and cannot freely reveal secret details to those who have not taken the blood oath. This blood oath contract was jointly forged by 10 of the top mystic masters in the Dragon Kingdom, which can make those who reveal the secret face extremely severe punishment for breaking the oath. For example, get a permanent curse that reduces all attributes by 50%, including attack power. To get rid of this curse, the price to pay is extremely high. Hu Hua frowned. This involves top-secret information. Su Tianlong nodded, and then took out 5 blood oath contracts. The names of Wei Qing, Xiaolan, Li Ming, Su Tianlong, and Wang Zhizhong were impressively written on these 3 contracts. Obviously, all those who knew Lin Tian's talent, they also consciously made a blood oath. This matter involves the confidentiality of special talents. Hu Hua, Zhang Peng, and others saw Su Tianlong's name. I realized that this matter might really be a top secret. Hu Hua didn't talk nonsense, picked up the pen on the table, and took the lead in writing his name on the blood oath contract, then stroked his fingernails, forced a drop of his own blood, and tapped on the runes of the contract. The remaining 9 people, including Zhang Peng, they all followed suit. They have a clear conscience, and they are all loyal backbones in various departments of the Dragon Kingdom. It is impossible to leak a secret. Okay, we all signed the blood oath of secrecy. Now we can talk about it. Su Tianlong stood up and put away the confidential blood oath of the 10 people. Then he said, "Come with me. I'll show you something, and you will naturally know what happened, and how we were able to completely defeat the 3rd-level beast tide." Su Tianlong took the lead and walked out of the office. Hu Hua was a little impatient. He came here to find answers, not to go for a ride with Su Tianlong. But that's what other people have said. He could only follow patiently. Not long after, Su Tianlong led Hu Hua and others to the warehouse of Li Ming's camp. At this moment, there are teams of heavy soldiers from the Human Battalion guarding the warehouse in front of it. It was as if there was some shocking treasure in the warehouse. Su Tianlong and Li Ming greeted each other. "This is the investigation team from the provincial department. They are here to investigate the cause of this animal horde incident." Li Ming saw the embarrassed Zhang Peng behind Hu Hua at a glance. He roared angrily, "You are still like a dog's skin plaster, a stinky fart who won't let go of one thing. I told you that it's top secret, and it has something to do with you. You just need to guard your cloud riding camp. Why are you meddling in this matter?" Zhang Peng scratched his neck and roared back, "I signed a blood oath of secrecy." Li Ming was taken aback for a moment, then glanced at Hu Hua and the others who were silent but obviously impatient. Only then did he get out of his way, allowing the soldiers of the Human Battalion, who were heavily guarded in front of the warehouse, to make way. Then come in. 029. Once in the warehouse, everyone clearly felt that the temperature in the warehouse was much lower than the outside world. This is what Li Ming did on purpose. After all, there are dozens of big Ivans in your warehouse, and you will be worried to maintain the temperature of the warehouse and prevent it from exploding due to high temperature. Li Ming led the way. Hu Hua, Zhang Peng, and others followed behind. A little complacency appeared on Zhang Peng's face. I knew you were hiding a baby." Hu Hua looked calm. He has seen all the things stored in the warehouse of Huban Camp, and they are not top secret at all. Everyone went to the depths of the warehouse. Then Li Ming walked to a basket of mythical grenades that he had carefully stored, and stretched out his hand to lift the cloth covering it. The next moment, dozens of black engineering grenades came into everyone's eyes. Hu Hua frowned, looking at Su Tianlong. "Is this what you want us to see?" Zhang Peng also felt uncomfortable. "Are you playing us like monkeys? What's the point of dropping a cannon in this frame?" Zhang Peng's attitude was exactly the same as before when Li Ming didn't know the horror of the mythical level. Everyone thinks that the power of a grenade is similar to that of a dropped cannon. Li Ming sneered. Throwing a cannon? Would you like to try throwing one? All of us and the entire Jiangning city must go to heaven. Zhang Peng sneered. Are you lying to ghosts? You don't even draft drafts when you talk big. Hu Hua stepped forward and took out a grenade from the basket. Then he took a closer look at himself. Both Su Tianlong and Li Ming showed malicious smiles. They are waiting. Wait for a gasp. Hiss. The voice sounded as expected. Looking at the expression on his immediate boss Hu Hua, Zhang Peng was instantly dumbfounded. At this moment, Hu Hua's resolute Chinese character face was trembling slightly. The grenade in his hand was carefully put away by him, for fear of any mistakes. Zhang Peng didn't believe in evil, so he also picked up a grenade. Then he just yelled, almost scared the soul out. God, mythical level? What grade is this? Zhang Peng's eyes were filled with incredible words. Li Ming, as you can see, this box of grenades is not an ordinary grenade. It's a mythical grenade. Have you never seen the world? I don't know if there is another level above the epic level. Li Ming felt very refreshed. He completely forgot what kind of bear he was when he saw the mythical grenade for the first time. Hu Hua is still very sensitive to weapons. After Li Ming said that these grenades are a level higher than the epic level, he asked quickly, what about the power? How about the power? Snapped. Li Ming snapped his fingers. Soon Li Ming's subordinate, Sun Sheng, walked in with a portable computer. Li Ming clicked on a video. Played up. Hu Hua and others moved their heads together. Watch this video with incomparably curious eyes. In the video screen, a military drone arrived above a swamp area carrying an engineering grenade almost exactly like the one they had just seen. Then put it down. Next moment, glare, flame, explode. The terrifying sound, even through the screen, shocked everyone present. F***K. The power of this explosion. I know. The beast horde was wiped out like this too, right? Zhang Peng's face was flushed. He was very excited about his conjecture, because he had repeatedly watched the pictures of the Jiangning beast horde before the big explosion that were circulated on the internet several times. He also clearly saw several drones cruising in the sky. Li Ming showed a teachable expression and nodded. The video is the first time we saw Lin Tian create a mythical grenade and plan to test the power of the video. As for this beast horde, you all know that under the protection of the particle shield, we airdropped 4 mythical grenades and directly slaughtered 300,000 beast hordes. Even if Li Ming talks about it now, that is also holding your head high, and your words are full of pride. Hu Hua bent down to touch the mythical grenade, his eyes filled with shock. He has already realized that if this thing is energy produced, how much change will it bring to the Dragon Kingdom? Wait, in what Li Ming said just now, it seemed that he had mentioned a few keywords. Created. There is another name. Lin Tian. Hu Hua stood up suddenly, grabbed Li Ming's shoulders with both hands, and asked in a trembling voice, Li Ming, what are you talking about? This mythical grenade was manufactured? Didn't you brush it out in the dungeon? Li Ming, what kind of dungeon can drop this treasure? I promised to let my Huban camp swipe in it 24 hours a day. Of course it was made. Hu Hua was even more excited. Who? Who made it? Is it the man named Lin Tian you just mentioned? Li Ming nodded. Yes, that's him. Hu Hua was in trouble again. No, I've heard the name of the famous engineering master in our country, but I haven't heard of Lin Tian. I'm not disrespectful to the master. I just want to know how many times this master Lin Tian has turned, and where is he? Su Tianlong smiled. No master is good in front of him. He is a student of our Jiangning No. 1 middle school. I'm doing a mission now. As soon as this remark came out, Hu Hua felt that his 3 views were about to be shattered. What? The person who can make such an awesome weapon is just a student who hasn't finished a single turn? Su Tianlong, aren't you curious? How did the shield that covered the entire city of Jiangning and truly made the beast horde harmless and prevented mythical grenades from affecting Jiangning? So little by Su Tianlong. Hu Hua just remembered. Indeed, the mythical grenade destroyed the beast tide. But if it weren't for the golden shield that made audiences across the country think it was a place of divine sanctuary. All this is empty talk. Su Tianlong. That is also his handwriting. 030. Hu Hua opened his mouth wide. I don't know how to express the shock in my heart. Impossible. Being able to create a mythical grenade is already outrageous. How much painstaking effort and cherished materials will be paid for this? This young man named Lin Tian must have unlocked the formula of the mythical grenade by chance. There is only such a formula. It is enough for the entire Dragon Kingdom to give him the same national treasure treatment as other engineering masters. If he can still create a creature that can release a shield that defends the entire city, then he will really be able to blow up all the masters at the national level today. No wonder Su Tianlong asked himself and others to sign a blood oath of secrecy. Such a peerless genius should indeed be protected. Then, the attributes of that thing, can we have a look? Hu Hua felt that his voice was trembling. Zhang Peng and the other 9 people also swallowed with a grunt. Everyone knows a common sense, that is, no matter what kind of mechanical creation, all consume energy. Consuming energy to release the shield, naturally the larger the shield is opened, the higher the energy consumption, the lower the shield value and defense power will be. How can it prevent the beast horde after placing it within the range covering the whole city? Hearing this, Su Tianlong and Li Ming looked at each other, both showing ant smiles. Now we don't have any particle shield generators in stock in our warehouse. The third ring of his first turn mission requires the handing in of 2 existing engineering creations. The one who protected the entire Jiangning from the beast horde before has been handed over to the job-changing god Stone by him. Speaking of this, Su Tianlong smiled mysteriously. But now he is making a second particle shield generator. If you go now, maybe you can still witness the process of him making the artifact. Hiss. Su Tianlong heard the sound of gasping again. Witness the birth of the artifact with your own eyes. Visit a boy who can create artifacts in person. These extraordinary professionals who have lived for nearly 100 years are actually a little nervous at this moment. Quick, take us there. In the end, Hu Hua suppressed the ecstasy in his heart and let Su Tianlong lead the way. Soon, the investigation team came to the door of the experimental workshop that Su Tianlong had specially packed for Lin Tian. Su Tianlong first knocked lightly on the door. He was also afraid that if he moved too much, it would affect Lin Tian. Student Lin Tian, are you busy now? Is it convenient for us to come in? A few teachers from the provincial department want to meet you and chat with you by the way. Hu Hua, if he is really not free, or if he doesn't want us to disturb him, let's wait outside. Hu Hua's attitude was extremely polite. It's not at all like the attitude that a boss who has reached the rank of lieutenant general should face young people. After waiting for a long time, everyone did not hear any movement inside. Su Tianlong was a little surprised. Lin Tian is not the kind of person who will be proud of being favored. If he really doesn't want to be disturbed, he will say it. Don't say anything, just let them hang out. At this moment, the workshop door suddenly opened. Lin Tian was speechless. Didn't I say you can come in? Why are you so dazed outside? Su Tianlong only remembered at this time. Grass. He specially designed this workshop, and the sound insulation effect is excellent. Lin Tian couldn't even hear the beast-tide alarm inside. Don't say that you can still hear what Lin Tian said when you wait outside. Hu Hua and his party entered the experimental workshop. Then at a glance, he was attracted by the spherical object that Lin Tian put on the console. Lin Tian returned to the operating table and fitted the last component with the iron ball on the table. After a soft sound, Lin Tian breathed a sigh of relief. Nailed it. Sure enough, every time you repeat the production of props that have been successfully produced, the efficiency will be higher. It took him half a day to build the particle shield generator last time. This time Lin Tian only took 2.5 hours to get it done. A self-confident smile appeared on Hu Hua's face. Student Lin Tian, hello? I'm Hu Hua, commander of the right-wing unit of the Dongjiang Great Wall Army. Nice to meet you. It's really a boy born of a hero since ancient times. Hearing that you are the real hero who solves the crisis of the beast horde really opened my eyes. Is it convenient for us to take a look at the shield generator you built? Lin Tian raised his eyebrows. Good guy, the ministry finally came. Lin Tian was a little happy in his heart. This shows that from this moment on, he has attracted the attention of provincial forces. Compared with the level of Jiangning, the base city, there is no doubt that the provincial level can provide itself with more resources. The follow-up development will of course be better. Lin Tian nodded. Look, be careful though, just don't touch the switch. Hu Hua nodded. Carefully picked up the shield generator and checked it. After a few seconds, Su Tianlong looked at the extremely embarrassed Hu Hua who was sitting on the ground, showing a gloating smile. Hee. Sure enough, the creation made by Lin Tian is numb to everyone. This my god. This attribute is too. I don't know how to describe it. Hu Hua's direct adjective is broken. I don't know how to express the shock of what is in front of me. Student Lin Tian, can you master these 2 props proficiently now? If you are provided with enough materials, can you succeed every time and guarantee that the grade will always be mythical grade? Hu Hua asked very carefully. He was afraid that Lin Tian would reply that he was not successful every time. And the mythical level is also a coincidence. Although even so, Lin Tian's value is at the national treasure level, but people want to see perfection. This question does not require Lin Tian to answer. Li Meng on the side answered directly on his behalf. Brother Lin is amazing. He didn't make these mythical creations by chance. So far, every one of his productions has been a success, and there have been no examples of failure. And all the creations that pass through his hands will only be at the mythical level, not other levels. This is his talent. Boom. The brains of Hu Hua and others completely shut down. The creations are all mythical. Never fail. Terrible. If not, conditions do not allow. Now Hu Hua is just about to kneel down and hug his thigh for Lin Tian. 031. Hu Hua knew that he could no longer waste time here. He immediately said to the other 9 investigators around him, "I will report this matter to Linen immediately to the top of the military department. Student Lin Tian, you deserve more resources and more protection and training. Don't worry, I, Dongjiang, have special treatment for a super genius like you." The composition of the 10-person investigation team varies widely. There are not only military people like Hu Hua. In fact, there are also people from the education department and the professionals union. These people's thoughts coincided with Hu Hua's. Report. Must report. Just when the 10 people were eager to return to Linen to return to their orders, and to inform the leader of what they had seen and heard about Lin Tian in this line of work. But Su Tianlong suddenly said, "There is a biggest problem now, and I need the help of you provincial and departmental experts." Lin Tian's first-turn mission has reached the last stage. The mission requirement is to enter the Dark Forest dungeon and kill a boss called the Corrupted Wolf King inside. Hu Hua. Is the copy very difficult? Su Tianlong. King-level difficulty, 10-player scale. Normally speaking, this level of dungeon difficulty, in fact, Wei Jiangning sent 9 elites to escort Lin Tian into the strategy. It is also possible, but this dungeon is quite special. It is the root of this 3rd-level beast tide. It's the entrance to the dungeon that has just appeared in a different dimensional crack that has entered a stable state after releasing the beast tide. We don't have any information about this dungeon. We don't have any strategy. We don't know the mechanism of the dungeon. And we don't know the strategy of the boss. So just to be on the safe side, I think it's best to let you choose the elite among the elites to ensure that nothing goes wrong. It doesn't matter whether the copy is cleared or not. What matters is Lin Tian's safety. The 4-dimensional attribute of life occupation and main combat occupation is not of the same order of magnitude at all. So after entering the dungeon, the first priority of the other 9 people is to protect Lin Tian. While protecting Lin Tian, he also has to face the brutal monsters and bosses in the dungeon. In Jiangning, a 3rd-level base city, there are only a dozen extraordinary people who have reached level 60 of the 3rd rank. And it's not even a strong party. Compared with the masters at the provincial and ministerial level, they are nothing. Hu Hua nodded solemnly after hearing the words. "Your idea is right. The matter is of great importance, and we cannot afford the worst consequences. Don't worry, I will go back and report this matter." Hu Hua looked at Lin Tian and smiled. "Student Lin Tian, we will send someone to help you complete the mission of the first turn as soon as tomorrow, so don't worry." After giving Lin Tian a promise, Hu Hua led the other 9 people and left. Late afternoon, the investigation team finally returned to Linen, the base city of Dongjiang's provincial department. In one day, the round trip of thousands of kilometers makes everyone a little tired. It's mental exhaustion. But these exhaustions are nothing compared to their excitement. Almost half an hour after the investigation team returned to Linen. In an instant, the highest level of all organizations in Dongjiang. A decision to call an emergency meeting has been issued. After an hour, the highest meeting room in Linen was filled with high-level figures from the education department, the military, and the professional union. The news these people received was that the investigation team in Jiangning had found out the truth about the beast tide and the rumors about the sanctuary. But it is not necessary that all important people must be present to participate in the meeting. As a member of the investigation team, Zhang Peng, a little shrimp, was also fortunate to join this meeting. Dialect. All big bosses. Compared with these big men who shake their hands, stomp their feet, and shake the whole Dongjiang 3 times, I really don't even count as a fart. Zhang Peng even saw many people from non-3 major organizations attending the meeting. They are the heads of Dongjiang's professional family. The heads of these aristocratic families are inextricably linked with the Professionals Alliance, the Education Department, and the military, and even most of the professionals and even high-level officials in the alliance are sent by these aristocratic families. Even apart from these quartet forces, there are also forces that Zhang Peng doesn't even know about. That is the Folk Guild. Don't underestimate the guilds spontaneously organized by private professionals. That is to say, the Dragon Kingdom began to integrate various forces and organizations in the early days of the Cataclysm era, and only then did it form the current four-legged situation. For other countries, guilds voluntarily organized by professionals. It is the embodiment of a country's high-end strength. Of course, Dongjiang folks also have such guilds. These guilds either have a large number of people and have distinct classes, or they take the route of elitism. The level of the president is even higher than that of some military professionals. There were more than 200 people in the whole venue, which looked spectacular. Then, the real three top bosses of the Dongjiang Provincial Office all appeared on the stage. The commander-in-chief of the Dongjiang Great Wall Army, the Iron Wall Army, and the Sharp Sword Army, Xin Yuancheng, was wearing a formal suit and sitting on one of the main seats. Sitting next to him on the other two main seats, it is He Chang'an, director of the Dongjiang Education Department and the leader of the Dongjiang Professionals Alliance and the chief of the Dongjiang Province. Three bosses appeared. The rustling chatter in the conference room disappeared instantly. The head of the province, Wu Fengcheng, waved. In the next moment, dozens of staff members dressed in black entered the venue and distributed stacks of confidential blood oaths to everyone present at the meeting. These staff members are quick, and after a few minutes, in front of everyone who attended the meeting, there was an extra blood oath of secrecy. Then He Chang'an, director of the Education Department, said, "Comrades, you may be wondering why we have to hold such a meeting urgently. Because this meeting involves the confidentiality regulations for special talents. It is related to the future development of our Dongjiang and even the entire Dragon Kingdom. We have to be cautious. Before today's meeting, please sign the blood oath of secrecy. After signing, our staff will collect it uniformly." Everyone present was stunned. What's the matter? Sign a blood oath of secrecy. So exciting. Immediately, representatives of some aristocratic families were somewhat dissatisfied. It's not necessary. Can we promise not to leak the secret? Xin Yuancheng, marshal of the Dongjiang army, who sat at the head of the meeting and had not said a word, looked over instantly. His eyes were like sharp swords, and he said coldly, "If you don't sign, you will get lost." At the same time, the plainclothes military professionals guarding around the venue also exuded an extremely terrifying murderous aura. The people from the Education Department and several high-level executives from the Professionals Union also looked unfriendly, frowning at these misfits. Several family representatives opened their mouths. They are used to being free, so of course they don't like this state of being bound by a contract. Just expressed my opinion. Unexpectedly, he became the target of public criticism in an instant. 032. Representatives of several families. Completely convinced. They knew that if they didn't sign the blood oath of secrecy today, they wouldn't be able to leave this conference room safely. Everyone silently picked up the pins on the table and signed their names on the signature column of the confidential blood oath. In front of the tables where they sit, there are all their nameplates. At the same time, the staff standing behind them were also monitoring that everyone signed their own names. Petty tricks and cheating are out of the question. For a moment, the entire meeting room was filled with the rustling sound of pen rubbing against paper. After a few minutes, everyone signed the confidential blood oath, and the staff standing behind them checked the content of these blood oath signatures again, confirming that the names corresponded and that their own blood was indeed engraved. It was carefully put away. I saw that the first procedure was successfully completed. Only then did Feng Chong, the head of the province who sat on the main seat, show a smile. "Very well, then let's start the main process of the meeting." He tapped the electronic remote control in his hand. The next moment, a video was played on the big screen in the meeting room. Here is a comparison video. The one on the left shows a military drone flying over a swamp and dropping a black object downward. On the right is the picture of the Jiangning beast tide that everyone has seen before. In the picture on the right, because the viewing angle is too far away, someone deliberately drew a circle on a certain black spot in the video. Let everyone know that it was a military drone too. Then, in the two pictures, a terrible strong light appeared. The violent explosion that followed, and the ensuing mushroom cloud, and the horrific destruction and cleansing of the surface. Same. A murmur of discussion erupted in the conference room. They saw the picture on the right in the live broadcast. What does the picture on the left mean? Then, the second video played on the big screen. This video is even simpler. It is also a bird's-eye view of Jiangning. It's just that this perspective didn't appear in that live broadcast. In the picture, on the tallest building in Jiangning, it seems that a person can be vaguely seen, holding something, walking to the top floor. The man fiddled with what he was holding in his arms. The next moment, a golden light beam rushed into the sky, then spread out. A huge golden shield covering the entire Jiangning city was formed. This time, the reaction in the conference room was more than whispered discussions. They all know what this picture means. Jiangning is not a place of divine sanctuary. That shield was obviously created by this person using a certain prop. A few days passed, and none of the people present forgot the shock that the golden shield brought them during the Jiangning beast horde. That's the real wall of size. Not only did it defend against the beast horde, it also defended against 4 terrifying nuclear explosions. Both videos have finished playing. Next, there are 2 PPT slides. On these 2 slides, there are detailed properties of the 2 props. TB1 engineering grenade, DS1 particle shield generator. The moment when the detailed properties of these 2 props were revealed, the entire conference room could hear a needle drop. Then there was the sound of everyone gasping. The resentment in the hearts of the representatives of those aristocratic families dissipated in an instant. Everyone was dumbfounded, in disbelief. God, mythical level? Isn't the highest level only epic? What kind of shield value is this against the sky? 1 billion. There is also the attribute of automatic recovery. Which master is this work? Jiangning's beast-tide incident. He should be the first to take credit. Could it be Master Luo? He is an academician of the Academy of Dragon Sciences and a rank 5 Master of Engineering. Many super projects in the Dragon Kingdom are done by him behind the scenes. I've also heard that Mr. Luo was in seclusion before. He didn't expect to bring us such an astonishing super weapon as soon as he left the seclusion. Don't look down on life professions, especially engineering. Top-level life professionals can also affect the direction of the war. That's the pinnacle of life professionals. He Chang'an, director of the Education Department of Dongjiang Provincial Department, smiled and said, "Representatives, please be quiet. These 2 engineering creations are not the works of Master Luo Tian. It's someone else. It's inconvenient to disclose the specific name, and it will be referred to by the code name Lubanda." When Hu Hua was about to leave, in fact, he asked Lin Tian a word too much. That is the follow-up meeting discussion. It is impossible to expose his real name and face to everyone. Moreover, if Lin Tian gains international fame in the future, he will definitely not be able to show his real name and appearance to others. Because there is a professional branch called Curse Warlock for mage-type professionals, there are many curse-type spells that require exact names and appearances. Most of the masters at the national scholar level in the Dragon Kingdom. When he debuted, he also gave himself a nickname. Hu Hua asked how Lin Tian would refer to himself. After Lin Tian thought for a while, he took the word Luban for himself. This is not the Liu Ban and king of pesticides. It represents Luban, the god of craftsmen in Chinese mythology. Liu Ban is also a life professional. His talent is all creations. It must be mythical. He Chang'an said a few words. Let the audience be silent again. Everyone was shocked. What is the concept that all creations are mythical? It is a concept that can carry the rise and fall of a country. However, it remains to be discussed whether each of his creations must be at the mythical level, and whether the creations made by his subsequent job transfer formula are still stable at the mythical level. But the current mythical grenade and particle shield generator have been verified, and he can reproduce it. Just give him the ingredients. So, with these 2, it is enough to make him a national treasure level talent. I propose to continue to report to the country and apply for this Luban the highest level talent training policy at the national level that our Dongjiang province has never applied for. Hands up if you agree, brush. 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 He Chang'an's voice fell. I saw all the participants without thinking, without any hesitation. They all raised their hands. Gudu. Zhang Peng looked neat, and everyone raised their hands. Scalp numb. This scene is extremely shocking. Generally speaking, more than half of the representatives agree with this type of voting issue. Will pass. But now, Zhang Peng could see clearly. Unanimous vote. That's right. It was a rare unanimous vote. No one disagrees. 033. I saw densely raised hands in the venue. To be honest, the 3 people sitting on the main seat were also shocked. For those under their command, It is not surprising that they would raise their hands and vote. But they didn't expect that there would be some folk guild representatives and representatives of aristocratic families. They all passed with a raise of their hands. You must know that in this era, all the aristocratic families compete for the number of talents to be cultivated. Because resources are limited, more resources can only be provided to young people with better talents and better hearts. However, this time they really gave up this opportunity to a person whom they didn't even know their real name or face. Taking a deep breath, He Chang'an continued. Okay, everyone passed the vote. Now the next procedure of the meeting is to discuss in detail what Dongjiang can provide him before he is approved at the national level. The first point is the safety issue. This era is actually no different from the era before Lin Tian traveled. In the context of the great integration of the world, each country has eyeliners arranged by other countries, and even walking 50W is not surprising. These people are of course not good people. Even the Dragon Kingdom was chased and intercepted by several countries that had completed gamification, first because of the fact that they had been catching up for decades, targeted in all aspects. The targets of these infiltrating, malicious people are of course the young geniuses of the Dragon Kingdom. It is best to be obliterated in the cradle. If Lin Tian's talent is really exposed, there is no doubt that he will definitely become the first assassination target of these people. Now Lin Tian has just reached level 10, and he is still a life profession without any self-protection skills. Therefore, his safety comes first. Xin Yuancheng. Then recruit the strongest people in our province to escort him. My side will be in charge of selecting the entire Dongjiang army and selecting the 50 strongest members. There should be quite a few masters in the colleges and departments under your education department. It shouldn't be difficult to select 30 people, right? There are more people in the professional alliance. If you really want to say it, there may be more powerful people hidden in the private sector. Please trouble President Wu to choose. Finally, there are representatives from the aristocratic family and the guild. If you have suitable people under your command and are willing to do this protection work, it can also be reported. At that time, we will simplify the list and finally confirm that 100 people will come out. In a sense, the 100 people mentioned by Xin Yuancheng are the top 100 among the tens of thousands of main combat professionals in the entire province of Dongjiang. He Chang'an, director of the education department, and Wu Fangcheng, leader of the alliance, both nodded. This proposal is reasonable. He Chang'an continued. The second point is his upgrade, tasks, and dungeon matters. This point is actually not in conflict with the previous point. Currently, Luban is at the last stage of the first turn mission. The mission goal of the last stage is to kill a certain boss in a 10-player dungeon with king-level difficulty. With his current level, before he turns 3, the number of people who can enter the instance is also limited to less than 10 people. So we select 100 people, and then finally we have to choose the best among the 100 people, select 9 people, form a dungeon team with him, take him to the dungeon to upgrade, and do the task. Wu Fangcheng took over the conversation. For leveling, as long as he completes 1 turn, in fact, he can upgrade through dungeons later. In the field leveling area, we can't control other professionals. If there is friction, it's not good to attract attention. If possible, I would rather let him be with the light. So copy upgrade is the first choice. Chang'an, your people should be more comprehensive in copy research. Maybe I need to trouble you to send someone to find a dungeon suitable for his leveling, and then optimize the team configuration of the professional team to upgrade with the highest efficiency. For the efficiency of dungeon customs clearance. Sometimes it is not that the stronger the professional, the higher the clearance efficiency. Also fit the copy mechanism. The monsters and boss mechanism of some dungeons take advantage of occupations and skills, and even create a terrifying record of clearing a dungeon in a few minutes. There is precedent for this. Now it is left to the people of the Dongjiang Education Department to find suitable dungeons for Lin Tian's leveling from the entire Dongjiang area. At least ensure that he is smooth and silky until level 50. Those low-level dungeon strategies that have been around for hundreds of years are already rotten. But there are almost no strategies for speeding up, or even racing to break the record. For a talent like Lin Tian, the requirement is to lead him to level up with record-breaking efficiency. He Chang'an nodded. It means that this matter is on him. Wu Fangcheng continued. The last point is about his personal improvement. That is, potions, mixtures, enchantments, equipment, occupation books, mystic runes, one-time skill scrolls, etc. Let's work together on these, and don't be so self-conscious. The main reason is that he is a life profession. He can't wear many equipment that our main combat profession can wear. So to find him a set of equipment that can be worn by non-main combat occupations, it is best to improve his proficiency in life skills and success rate. Well, there is also defense, blood volume bonus, and so on. Don't search for the consumables before the dungeon, potions, and enchantments. Just use the best ones. This meeting opened directly for an afternoon. At the back, everyone was brainstorming. It wasn't just He Chang'an and Xuanyuanqing who were conspiring. Everyone offered their opinion. He even started to care about Lin Tian's experience and comfort. When the dungeon is underway, don't let him get tired. Master the right time and rhythm. I can't make him feel bored anymore. Let's see what he likes and arrange it for him. By the way, Liu Ban is a boy, right? Then I suggest that the dungeon configuration should be all female professionals, and those whose appearance is less than 8 points will not be considered. Do you think it's possible that his taste is different from normal people? Hiss, isn't there such a possibility? Then add the tough guy and the handsome guy. Anyway, there are 100 people. In the end, he chooses 9 people to team up with him to level up. The composition and strength of these 9 people is enough. It's getting more and more outrageous. The meeting is over, and the entire Dongjiang, involving 61 Bay cities and involving more than 100,000 people, has begun. All organizations are looking for people. Xinyuan Cheng even asked his subordinates to hold a selection contest. In addition to picking people, the warehouse of the Professional Alliance and the treasure house of the aristocratic family are also fully opened on this day. Someone specially counted and looked for the equipment that Lin Tian could use. This night, the entire Dongjiang is busy because of one person. Old author, new book. 034. The next day, the morning light was bright, and the breeze blew the curtains, opened a corner, and shone on Lin Tian's eyes. Lin Tian opened his eyes and woke up from the bed in Jiangshan Yipin's big villa. He glanced at the alarm clock next to the bed. It was already 9 o'clock in the morning. Lin Tian stretched his waist and woke up naturally after sleeping cool. After a simple wash, Lin Tian walked out of the bedroom and came to the living room. This villa has 2 living rooms and 2 kitchens. One of the living rooms was used as a breakfast room. Lin Tian walked into the breakfast room and found a steaming breakfast on the table. This was not done by Lin Zhenhua. Lin Zhenhua went to work early in the morning. He told Lin Tian that it is impossible to resign because he is working hard. Really let him lie down and enjoy. He will panic. Lin Tian couldn't beat his father, but he firmly disagreed with him continuing to mine. The mayor Wang Zhizhong saw these things in his eyes. Naturally, it was coordinated. Now Lin Zhenhua still works in that mine. It's just that it has become a clerical job, with the title of director, sitting in the office, and the days are very leisurely. The meals on Lin Tian's table were obviously prepared by Wang Zhizhong's chef. Not only cooks, but also cleaning and housekeeping. These people only treat Papa Lin Tian as an upstart, and they don't need to sign any confidentiality blood contract. After breakfast, Lin Tian went out. Just now Lin Tian's mobile phone received a message from Su Tianlong. Allow yourself to head to the meeting room at the municipal building if you wake up. The people sent by the provincial department to help him brush up the copies are almost here. Walk down the street. Lin Tian found that Jiangning has become much more lively these days. After all, after the previous animal tide incident, Jiangning somehow became an internet celebrity city. Even people from other provinces come to Jiangning for tourism. There is also a group of bald donkeys who package some temples in Jiangning, saying that this animal crisis is due to the appearance of a certain bodhisattva and a certain Buddha. Instead, they made a lot of money. Then the temple was seized the next day, and the money was handed over. But today Lin Tian discovered that the aura of people walking on the street is extremely strong. Lin Tian can be regarded as someone who has seen the world. Li Meng and Zhang Peng are the 2 highest-level main combat professionals he has encountered so far. The 2 are also strong in the transcendent realm, and Lin Tian somehow felt the aura of the transcendent realm from these people who appeared inexplicably on the street. Of course, their aura is more solid and restrained. It was obvious that their strength would be higher than that of Li Meng and Zhang Peng, especially the equipment they wear. The purple air is dense. This is a special effect only available in rare purple suits. In addition to the purple outfit, there were even a few orange outfits mixed in. It is obvious that these people are quite powerful. Lin Tian was thoughtful. These people, couldn't they be the ones sent by the provincial department to help me make a copy? While thinking, Lin Tian was bumped into his arms by an oncoming person. Lin Tian was only level 10, and he was not wearing any equipment, so he was knocked to the ground by this man immediately. The most embarrassing thing for Lin Tian was that this person was a girl. The girl screamed, Obviously, she bumped into Lin Tian, but she was probably too nervous. Her left foot touched her right foot. With a scream, he fell on Lin Tian. Fortunately, the girl was not heavy, and Lin Tian didn't feel much pain. It's just that the two lumps on his chest are soft, which makes Lin Tian very embarrassed. The girl immediately got up quickly and kept bowing and apologizing to Lin Tian. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're not hurt. I will compensate you. I will give you whatever you want. Is 1 million enough? At the same time, while apologizing, the girl raised the sapphire staff in her hand. The staff continued to flicker with golden light. Almost instantly, Lin Tian felt that more than a dozen healing spells were brushed against him. A series of tens of thousands of green healing numbers emerged from his head. Lin Tian had just scratched his skin a little bit and suffered a few injuries from the fall. Now, not to mention full of blood, he even has a shield value of 70,000 to 80,000 on the blood bar. Lin Tian was a little shocked, because although he doesn't know much about the priest of the main combat profession, but he knew how strong a priest was who could apply dozens of healing and buffing skills to himself in an instant without chanting. It was at this time that Lin Tiankai had the opportunity to take a closer look at the girl who knocked him down. The girl still couldn't help but owe herself, but Lin Tian was a little amazed by her delicate and fair face like a porcelain doll. Plus, she was wearing a pure white robe. The robe was not loose, but it could perfectly outline her curves that were already as attractive as a ripe peach. Everything made her look as if she had stepped out of poetry and painting. Lin Tian. It's okay. It's okay. You don't need to apologize, and you don't need compensation. This girl opened her mouth to pay 1 million yuan in compensation. She seems to be a little rich woman. The girl is very happy. You are a good person. Lin Tian. Walking on the street, for no reason, I was directly issued a card by a beautiful woman who can score at least 9 points. Lin Tian turned his head and planned to leave. Unexpectedly, this girl followed up a few steps, a little embarrassed, and said, Can you take me to Lin Tian? Where are you going? Are you visiting Jiangning? I'm a local, so I can show you the way. But the girl shook her head. I'm going to perform a secret mission today, and I can't tell you the specific details, so I can't tell you where I'm going. I'm going to be late. I ran a little fast to hit you. I'm sorry. Lin Tian. Lin Tian shrugged. Then there is nothing I can do to help. Lin Tian turned around and was about to leave. And Ling Xuer, who was standing behind him, was so anxious that she was about to cry. You, don't go. I came earlier than everyone else, but I'm a bit of a road idiot. I don't know the way, and after walking for a long time, I got lost. Lin Tian sighed. Then tell me where you are going. Can I take you there? Ling Xuer shook her head, pursed her lips. It's top secret. You can't tell it. Embarrassed. The atmosphere was completely awkward. Ling Xuer was about to be made to cry by herself. She bit her lower lip with her white teeth, wanting to cry. To be honest, Lin Tian hasn't seen such a pure beauty for a long time. He had seen too much green tea in his previous life. It can also be regarded as a little expert in appreciating whores. He can also tell the difference between the pretended and the real innocence. Ling Xuer is the latter. 035. Then I can't help, and I'm in a hurry. After speaking, Lin Tianjin left. He is not someone who can't walk when he sees a beautiful woman. Ling Xuer was just someone he met by chance. However, just after walking a few steps, Lin Tian found that Ling Xuer was following up. Where are you going? Lin Tian was getting impatient. Municipal building. In the next second, Lin Tian saw a hint of surprise appear on Ling Xuer's face, and then stars appeared in her eyes. That little expression almost said, I'm going here too. Lin Tian knew it in his heart, but he didn't expose it. Since it is the same road, it is still the same destination. Lin Tian would definitely not resist walking with a 9-point beauty. Who knew that Ling Xuer stammered? Oh, then the place I'm going to is different from you. Lin Tian was speechless. Why is there no 300 taels of silver here? He could only hold back a smile and continue walking forward. From time to time, Lin Tian peeked behind him from the corner of his eye. He found that there was a small tail behind him. Ling Xuer followed behind Lin Tian, and when she passed the corner, she was afraid that Lin Tian would find her, and even hid in the corner to peek. After more than 10 minutes, Lin Tian walked into the gate of the municipal building, and the two security professionals at the gate had known Lin Tian for a long time. They saluted Lin Tian one after another. Mr. Lin Tian, please go this way. The mayor and the others are already waiting for you in the meeting room. Lin Tian nodded, and soon came to the door of the conference room. As soon as he walked into the conference room, Lin Tian was shocked for a while by a group of elite professionals standing in the conference room. In the conference room, there were about 100 main combat professionals, male or female, old or young. They are fierce, and the equipment they wear even exudes the brilliance of advanced enchantments. Lin Tian was puzzled. My task requirement is to clear the 10-player dungeon, not the 100-player dungeon. How did the provincial government send so many people to him? Su Tianlong came over and guided Lin Tian to the main seat. Then he glanced at the list, frowned and said, "The representative of the family has one more. Well, a professional pastor selected by the Sisui Ling family hasn't come yet, and it's called Ling Shuer." Ling Shuer? Is Ling Shuer here? Su Tianlong read Ling Shuer's name. Arrive. An anxious voice came from outside the meeting room. Then Ling Shuer, who was wearing a white robe and holding a sapphire staff, ran into the conference room panting. Ling Shuer really felt like a big fool at this moment. Someone led the way, but she almost got lost and lost. Lin Tian didn't know where to start complaining. Is this girl called Ling Shuer? It's a nice name. It's this road idiot attribute that is absolutely perfect. Su Tianlong smiled. Then you can be included. We're all here. It's time to start. Ling Shuer stepped into the queue of professionals and stood up. She deliberately chose a position in the last row where Lin Tian could not be seen. Because at this moment, the girl also found out that Lin Tian was also there, and her little brain was already burning to the point of smoking. Ling Shuer is not stupid. She just has little experience in the world and is a little cute. It's all come to this point. Why doesn't she know that Lin Tian is the object she wants to protect in this top-secret operation? And he actually knocked over the object he wanted to protect in the street. Ling Shuer, you are such an idiot. Find a crack in the ground and get in. Shame on the family. On the stage, Su Tianlong said, Lin Tian, here is the province's top 100 main combat professionals selected from the military, various universities under the jurisdiction of the education department, and professional unions. Warrior, mage, archer, gunner, cleric, and assassin are all 6 major categories of combat occupations, and there are even hidden occupation branches among them. The average level is around 100, and they are all in the transcendent realm after rank 4. Look, according to your, taste, choose 9 people to be your teammates for this one-turn mission dungeon. Su Tianlong's expression also became strange. He read it from the manuscript sent to him by the Ministry of Education. He also doesn't understand what Lin Tian's taste means. And at this moment, however, Lin Tian saw that the big sisters with hot bodies and delicate faces standing in the front row were posing in extremely charming and attractive poses, and they were giving him a sneak peek. If Ling Shuer scored 9 points, then these mature big sisters also scored at least 8 points. It's not just these big sisters. In the crowd, there were several strong men with bulging muscles all over their bodies smiling confidently at Lin Tian. They pose in bodybuilding poses, showing a row of big white teeth. Beside this group of muscular men, there are also a few handsome young men with slender bodies and almost feminine faces. They looked at Lin Tian with smiles on their faces. Lin Tian shivered for no reason. Grass. Concubine selection meeting? As for doing this, Su Tianlong, Li Ming, and Wang Zhizhong were also stunned. Or they have never seen the world in the countryside like Jiangning. There are many routines in the city. It turns out that Lin Tian chooses professionals according to his taste, which refers to this. Why are the brain circuits of the people in the provincial department so clear? There is another update tonight. 6 more today. 036. In the end, Lin Tian didn't choose the lineup himself, because he felt so against the sky. I really didn't work so badly that I became an ancient emperor and held a concubine selection meeting in front of 100 people. So Lin Tian asked Su Tianlong and others to help him choose a lineup according to the strength of these professionals and the rationality of the lineup. After more than 10 minutes, 9 professionals carefully selected by Su Tianlong and others stood in front of Lin Tian. Wenya, you should be the captain of the team. Your resume says that you have rich command experience and are adaptable on the spot. A mature woman in a fiery red Chong Sam chuckled. Yes, Wenya is a level 105 mage, either a hidden branch or the simplest fire method. But just because she is the highest level in the audience and has the most combat experience, she deserves the title of captain. In addition to Wenya, Lin Tian's team also had 3 gunners. They are 3 sisters who are almost carved out of the same mold. A heavy gunner, a mechanical expert, and a fire expert. The gunners account for 3 of the 5 branches. This is also the core of the team's long-range output against single versus groups. One of the melee output is a masked thief girl. She doesn't talk much and looks at Lin Tian with cold eyes. It fits Lin Tian's stereotype of professional thieves. Then there is another special branch of the warrior department, the Condemned Knight. The reason why this profession is special is that it comes with an undead bone horse, and the bone horse is not only a mount. It is also one of her summons. Let this profession have both the defense and offense of the warrior department. However, this professional is still a woman. It's still a kind of sick and delicate one. Looking at Lin Tian's eyes makes Lin Tian feel a little hairy. This Scourge Knight is actually the deputy T in the team. When the main T has no time to distract and continue to pull monsters, the deputy T also undertakes part of the responsibilities of attracting and resisting monsters. In addition to the output, it is different from the division of labor in online games that Lin Tian once knew. In addition to tank, treatment, and output, the dungeon team in this world also has a fourth extremely important duty. That's control in the team. Control, as the name suggests, refers to the control of monsters, including imprisonment, restraint, dizziness, freezing, silence, disperse, and so on. It is essentially a support for the team. But this support is not to strengthen one's own team, but to weaken the enemy. Control is an indispensable role for dungeon teams whose difficulty reaches the king level or above, because if the chant of some monsters is not interrupted, it will bring disastrous consequences to the entire team. Some monsters do not weaken, do not stabilize, and even make it difficult for gunners to aim. And the control of Lin Tian's team is actually a girl. A special job transfer for archers, Trapmaster. This girl was barely clothed, except for animal skins pasted on key parts, making her look like a savage. But she is really big, and if the face is dressed up, she is also an 8-point beauty. Her occupation is not so much an archer, but more like a hunter. Finally, there is therapy. Generally speaking, in a team of 10 people, there are at least 2 healers. However, in Lin Tian's team, there is only one healer. The healer lowered his head at the moment, blushing, and didn't dare to look at Lin Tian at all. Ling Xuer had been praying in the audience just now. Don't choose me. Don't choose me. Who knew that a sentence on her resume directly made Su Tianlong decide to take her. There it was written. The amount of healing is extremely terrifying. The value is far higher than that of ordinary priests, and he has a large number of buff skills. The skills are released very quickly, and one person can completely undertake the healing of the entire team. Just this point is enough to give Ling Xuer even more terrifying strategic value. If the team's healing is compressed, it means that an extra output can be brought. The monster-killing efficiency of the entire team has been greatly improved. Finally, it is the main T. The main T is one of the fierce men who posed to Lin Tian in a bodybuilding pose. Is it finally a girl? To be honest, Lin Tian is still a little relieved. Otherwise, in the end, the whole team, except for myself, is really all women. Then he really is the next dungeon to open the harem. After the squad lineup was determined, Su Tianlong led Lin Tian to the treasure room next door. Take a whole set of equipment out of the box. This set of equipment shone with a lavender light. Lin Tian, look at this equipment. Can you put it on? Lin Tian picked up the top of this equipment. Starting with leather texture, Lin Tian checked the attributes of this top. Crazy Alchemist Udi's leather coat. Type. Armor. Type. Leather armor. Occupation. Unlimited. Equipment level. LV.15. Rare grade. Rare. Purple. Defense plus 150. Strength plus 29. Agility plus 29. Intelligence plus 29. Endurance plus 29. Special effect. Simple. The level requirement of the character wearing this equipment is reduced by 5 levels. Set. Alchemy Rage. 1/4. 2-piece set. If you do not have any damage skills, the effect of all potions and mixtures that are effective on you will be increased by 30%. 4-piece suit. If you do not have any damage skills, all damage you receive will be reduced by 10%. Remarks. I'm not crazy. My research is about to be completed. Alchemist Uditas, Lin Tian looked at several other pieces of equipment. Then he was shocked. Tops, pants, gloves, belts, headgear. Crazy Alchemist's 5-piece set. Already. Moreover, each piece is not limited to occupational wear and has its own simple attributes. Let level 10 self wear level 15 equipment. The most important thing is that there is also a set effect. Just looking at the effect of this suit, you can tell that this set of equipment is tailor-made for life professionals, and it perfectly fits the situation that Lin Tian is about to face now. The effect of the mixture increased by 30%, which means that those mixtures that increase the upper limit of their blood volume can give them 30% more. Make your blood volume higher or your defense higher. It can be said that it is very good equipment to collect 4 sets and directly reduce damage by 10%. Lin Fan put on the 5-piece suit of the Crazy Alchemist and opened the attribute panel. He found that his full attributes had broken through the 100 mark. The upper limit of blood volume has also been raised from 1,000 to around 8,000. With these enhancements, Lin Fan now finally feels that he is not the ordinary person who has no power to restrain the chicken. Now, with a single punch, with more than 100 points of strength bonus, he can also cause some damage to some low-level monsters. Lin Fan used his knees to know how much manpower and material resources the Dongjiang Provincial Department spent to collect this set of equipment for himself. This is a whole set, and there are simple special effects. Su Tianlong watched Lin Fan put on this equipment with a smile and nodded. It's good to be able to wear it. He knew how much this set of equipment was worth. It was a huge sum of money that he would never earn in his lifetime if he sold him to mine in Africa. Even, it is no longer measurable by money. However, the Dongjiang Provincial Department's surprise to Lin Fan did not stop there. Su Tianlong opened a box of equipment again. Lin Fan saw 2 rings and a necklace lying inside. That necklace even exudes an orange-yellow light. F***K. Orange outfit. 6th update. Today is really exciting. 037. Lin Fan picked up the orange necklace and checked its attributes. Tears of Eden type, jewelry type, necklace, occupation, unlimited, equipment level, LV.20, rank, rare, orange, magic recovery speed plus 99 points / second, intelligence plus 50, endurance plus 30, special effect, super simple. The level requirement of the character wearing this equipment is reduced by 10 levels. Special effect. When you suffer an attack that reduces your blood volume below 0 points, destroy this equipment and make this damage invalid. Remarks. When she left the Kingdom of Eden, she shed a tear. Accessories are rarer equipment than armor, second only to a good weapon. At present, most of the main combat occupations are the civilian party. They all give priority to wearing their own armor first. Even some poorer professionals will ignore the proficiency bonus of professional passive skills and wear armor mixedly. For example, soldiers wear leather armor or even cloth armor. It is a route that is better than nothing. Those who wear complete jewelry and equipment are basically professionals above the middle level. Not to mention, the necklace in Lin Fan's hands now has 2 special effects. One is super simple, and the other is more heaven-defying. It can directly save people from dying once. Lin Fan really didn't need his knees this time, and he couldn't think of the value of this piece of equipment with his brain. Mr. Su, is this too expensive? Even Lin Fan was a little apprehensive. For this necklace, it is estimated that he can't even buy leftovers for a set of Dabi and a 10 million black card. Su Tianlong smiled. Put it on, you deserve it. There are 2 more rings. Take a look too. Put them on. Lin Fan picked up the 2 rings in the box. View its properties. Dimensional ring type, jewelry type, ring, occupation, unlimited, equipment level, LV.20, rare grade, rare, purple, health recovery speed plus 35 points / second, endurance plus 23, special effect, super simple. The level requirement of the character wearing this equipment is reduced by 10 levels. Special effects. It allows you to open a different dimension space and create a 2*2m storage space. You can store inanimate objects and props in the space at will, and you can also take out props from the space at will. The properties of the 2 rings are exactly the same. All just provide a little stamina attribute. Let Lin Fan's blood volume and defense increase a little. But more valuable are the special effects. It is equivalent to Lin Fan now, also has a space ring. After the gamification of Blue Star, the backpack space that can be seen everywhere in the original game has not been distributed to everyone. If you want to have a space storage item, you have to buy it or brush it out in the instance. The 2-dimensional rings in front of me are such props, and they are the best among them. Lin Fan is happy. In this case, he can carry a few mythical grenades with him for self-defense. Well, those materials can also be packed in. This ring is really precious. It is so convenient. You can then start working anytime. The only pity is that you are a life profession. So far, we haven't found a weapon that you can wear. There is none in the whole Dongjiang. Lin Fan, I am already very grateful. Who would have thought that I, a life professional, would have a day when I would be fully equipped with equipment other than weapons? Su Tianlong sighed again. Lin Fan is really good-natured. He was still very worried that Lin Fan, a young man of 17 or 18, would be completely inflated because of being promoted to a high place by everyone. He has seen too many things like Hu Zhongyang. However, Lin Tian is an outlier. Even though he is only in his teens, he shows an extremely mature side in all aspects. Neither favor nor humiliation. Neither humble nor overbearing. Oh, by the way, just in case, help me prepare the materials for the 2 bottles of medicine after I have successfully changed my job and unlocked pharmacy. Neither is that rare. Lin Tian told Su Tianlong the material. Su Tianlong nodded and immediately ordered someone to do it. Su Tianlong patted his head before leaving. He suddenly remembered that there was still something to do. By the way, Lin Tian, take off the equipment first. I just let you try to see if you can wear it. After testing that you can wear it, you have to have someone enchant it, strengthen it, and increase it. It's impossible to just let you enter the instance wearing unenhanced equipment. I don't know when you will be able to unlock the enchantment and blacksmithing branches, so I guess you can get your own equipment yourself, haha. Lin Tian also smiled. That day is certainly not far away. After Su Tianlong left, Lin Tian then went to Huban camp again, took 7 or 8 mythical grenades from the warehouse, and put them in his portable space. Then Lin Tian returned to his experimental workshop, began modifying his second particle shield generator. Lin Tian planned to modify the external form of this thing before. After all, a ball is very inconvenient. It also looks silly in your arms. As a master of engineering, Lin Tian left a back door when he made this particle generator. Now disassemble the external structure, and then reassemble, familiar with the road. It's not just Lin Tian who is making final preparations before entering the dungeon. The same goes for the other 9. They repaired the whole body of equipment to full durability. Then, with the support of the entire Dongjiang Provincial Department, he re-enchanted the whole body of equipment, replaced with the top enchantment. Then there is the enhancement and increase of equipment. Strengthen the protection contract, increase the protection contract. These expensive consumables are like free money. If they fail, they will be thrown again. Until it succeeds. For a whole afternoon and night, everyone was making final preparations before entering the dungeon. The next morning, Lin Tian fell asleep again and woke up naturally. Then eat and drink enough. Go to the municipal building. As soon as he stepped into the meeting room, Lin Tian found that the other 8 younger sisters and a hunk were shining with terrifying lights all over their bodies. There was no doubt that they had reached the peak state of their lives. Su Tianlong, Wang Zhizhong, and Li Meng were all standing in the corner of the conference room. 3 faces that Lin Tian had never seen appeared on the stage. He Chang'an, who was slightly fatter, stepped forward first and shook hands with Lin Tian with a smile. It's really worth seeing once. Who would have thought that a master who can create mythical engineering creations is actually a young man? Student Lin Tian, I am He Chang'an, Director of Dongjiang Education Department. This is Xinyuan Cheng, Commander-in-Chief of Dongjiang 3 Armies, and Wu Fangchang, President of Dongjiang Professionals Alliance. After He Chang'an introduced Lin Tian one by one, the other 2 bosses smiled and nodded to Lin Tian. Put on your gear and let's get started. 038. While talking, Lin Tian saw a staff member come in holding the equipment he tried out yesterday. Good guy. Lin Tian feels like his dog eyes are going to go blind. Sure enough, the equipment with the highest enhancement level and boost level is the equipment that I want to wear. Pick up a piece of equipment. Lin Tian was stunned. The top of the Crazy Alchemist, at this moment, it is impressively written that the enhancement level is +9, and the increase level is +8. Lin Tian doesn't quite understand how difficult it is to enhance equipment to +9 and increase it to +8. But in fact, you can tell by the red eyes of several other players. This should be the limit that everyone can do in this half-day. Put on the equipment and knock on the potion. Lin Tian checked the things in the portable space again. Make sure you have it all. Under the leadership of the squad leader Wen Ya, and escorted by hundreds of elites from the Huban camp that Li Meng dispatched, 10 people from Lin Tian set off. In the meeting hall of the municipal building, on the big screen, the live broadcast of Lin Tian and others was also played in real time. At the same time, there is an emergency think tank team on standby. If there is any accident in the copy, these people can also make timely suggestions. On-site command and off-site command exist at the same time. Lin Tian himself sighed. Make the next copy yourself. It is really motivating the teachers and mobilizing the crowd. This group of people has carried forward the traditional performing arts of rabbits. That is to make plans in advance and file for the record. Even do the filing of the filing of the filing. Make sure everything is safe. Half an hour later, Lin Tian and others have already reached the entrance of the copy of the Dark Forest. The rift in the different dimension keeps flashing with strange light, And the scene on the other side is obviously a lonely and gloomy dense forest. Everyone, stand in line. Uncle Jiang, you stand in the front row. Girl from the Su family, don't look at our little brother anymore. Get to work. Clapped her hands. Get everyone ready to enter the instance. Uncle Jiang is the leader of the team, the only hunk. He smiled honestly, stood at the forefront of the team, and raised his shield. The purpose of this is to prevent encountering monsters directly after entering the dungeon. Su Momo is the deputy T-Scourge Knight in the team. She held her cheeks in her hands and looked at Lin Tian along the way. Give full play to the delicate attributes. But she didn't talk to Lin Tian. This made Lin Tian feel intrusive. The formation was set up quickly. Lin Tian was surrounded in the middle. At the same time, Ling Shuer, the only nanny, stood beside Lin Tian. After all, the nanny is the second object they want to protect besides Lin Tian. After setting up the formation, Uncle Jiang walked to the door of the rift in another dimension. The whole team was tipped off. You are about to enter the 10-person king-level difficulty dungeon. Dark Forest? Notice, in dungeons of difficulty level above the king level, you cannot use the city return scroll, and you cannot leave the dungeon before the dungeon is cleared. Do you want to enter the copy? As the captain, Wenya took a deep breath. The option to enter a copy is checked. In the next moment, everyone felt dizzy. After seeing the surrounding scene clearly again, they found that they had been teleported to a dense forest that exuded a strange and terrifying atmosphere everywhere. Lin Tian raised his head and saw that it was still daytime in the dungeon. It's just that there is an extremely thick layer of dark fog covering the dense forest, which blocks a lot of light, and the dense forest has lush leaves. Therefore, people who walk in the forest basically cannot feel the warmth of the sun. Ding! You have entered a copy of the dark forest. Ding! Your level is far lower than the average level of monsters in the dungeon, and all your attributes are suppressed by 30%. Lin Tian received 2 prompts in the dungeon. When he opened his panel, he found that all his attributes were marked in red. From nearly 200 full attributes, it plummeted to around 140. Ho ho ho. Almost as soon as 10 people entered the dungeon, a lot of beast roars came from the dense forest around them, ready to fight. At the moment when Wenya, the captain's voice, had just finished speaking, as many as dozens of elite mobs surrounded everyone, and the mobs seem to be constantly refreshing, and they won't stop at all. After a few breaths, there are as many as hundreds of mobs surrounding everyone. The Dongjiang boss and Su Tianlong from the Jiangning team, who were watching the battle all, became nervous. But at the same time, they are also happy. Prepare yourself. This kind of dungeon is a high-pressure situation as soon as it comes up, which is really rare. Fortunately, Lin Tian's team configuration is abnormal enough. Uncle Jiang, who was standing at the forefront of the team, still had a smile on his face. He turned his head and said to Captain Wenya, I have seen the routine of this dungeon before. Basically, these little monsters will not stop refreshing. Only if you push forward and get out of their warning zone, you won't follow. So, go ahead, I can handle it. Hearing this, he nodded. This is also her judgment. The so-called wave flow. It is to attract hatred for all the mobs visible to the naked eye, and let the tank drive the train directly. Run with the team. After finding the safe zone, it will not continue to refresh the mobs. Then the output occupation uses AoE skills to clear them in one wave. This style of play is one of the most efficient. In the games played by Lin Tian in his previous life, those racing teams basically played this way. It's just that this style of play requires tanks and treatment. Very perverted. Now Uncle Jiang is confident that he can handle it, and this team has never run in, so he has confidence in himself, instead of having confidence in Ling Shuer's treatment. What he meant was that even if he had no milk, he could still withstand this wave of high pressure. After meeting Wenya, the captain agreed. Uncle Jiang is a warrior with a heroic jump. He jumped up high and jumped into the middle of the monster group. Then he yelled loudly, Veggie, come and hit me. It's not his line. It's the lines that come with it when the skill is released. It was obviously a group ridicule. The soldiers jumped up to ridicule the group. Lin Tian was too familiar with this scene. He vaguely remembered that in the games he had played in his previous life, there were also a few particularly mature and steady uncles who played tanks. It's also so weird. The next moment, hundreds of mobs surrounding Lin Tian and the others were all attracted to hatred. They rushed towards Uncle Jiang one after another. He raised his shield. In an instant, a series of red injured numbers appeared above his head. It's just that these numbers are only a few dozen points, and there are more than 100 points for a critical hit. Compared with him, he has a blood limit of more than 100,000. The attacks of these little monsters are really no different from mosquito bites. Afterwards, Uncle Jiang raised his right foot high and then fell down suddenly. A lightning-shaped ripple spread in all directions. Defensive warrior skill. War Stomp. This is a skill that causes a small amount of damage and a lot of hatred, and can also slow down the monster group. After using this skill, the group of monsters will be slowed down. Even Uncle Jiang can kite these mobs. Okay, let's go. The hatred has stabilized, and now you can execute a wave of tactics. 039. Ling Shuer waved her staff. The next moment, a green blast appeared under everyone's feet. Lin Tian found that his movement speed has been greatly improved. In an instant, the running speed of the entire team seemed to be on the loose, and the monster group behind them was pulled far behind. The main T running in the front was a little surprised. The little girl has so many skills, not only milk, but also other buffs. At this time, Lin Tian also took the time to look at his status bar. It was exactly as Old Jiang said. In his status bar, there are 7 or 8 gain buffs. Increase the upper limit of blood volume. Increase defense, increase attack, increase all attributes, increase mana recovery, and increase movement speed, and several hot effects and shield effects that continue to recover. Ling Shuer is a job change from the priest department, but the branch must be a hidden job. She didn't say anything, not even the people from Dongjiang Provincial Department. I don't know if they didn't find out, or the family power behind Ling Shuer didn't intend to expose her talent and career. Soon, everyone ran out of the dense forest and came to a relatively safe hilly area with a wide view. Captain Wenya supported her slender waist with her right hand, with a charming smile on her face. What a horrible little girl. He'll steal the limelight. Won't he be attracted to my little brother? No way. My sister is also interested, sister. You should bear the pain and give up. Wenya walked to Lin Tian's side, exhaling like blue. This woman didn't wear that red cheongsam today anymore. The cheongsam is tied around the waist and chest. Today he wore a tight leather jacket that was still bright red. The explosive curves and her seductive eyes. Which man does not sink? Lin Tian had a bad feeling in his heart. Grass, this is the reincarnation of a goblin. Nima, still getting started. Speak well, don't start. Lin Tian's body in this world is still a baby, but his soul is not. When you really understood. If Ling Shuer is that kind of flawless and pure, then Wenya is a mature woman who is proficient in 18 skills. Fortunately, Wenya knows the seriousness. Seeing that all the mobs are coming, she too wields her ruby-encrusted staff. Snort. If you don't show off your skills, my little sister won't know how powerful I am. The next moment, the entire dark jungle brightened up. Pieces of hot magma fell from the sky, and the magma landed and splashed in all directions, starting to harvest the blood of these mobs in large quantities. Lin Tian raised his eyebrows. At first glance, this fire AoE spell is not a low-level spell. The spell categories in this world are divided into 9 levels from low to high. Above the 9th level is the Forbidden Curse. This spell is at least level 4 and up. The most important thing is that she is still instant. Normally, a tier 4 AoE spell cannot be cast instantly and must be read, and the singing time will definitely not be short. But when you can cast instantly, this woman does have 2 brushes. Hee. Lin Tian heard the clear laughter like a silver bell, followed the sound, and saw that the 3 sisters who had changed jobs from the gunner department had also come. Sister Ya, you see that you have such a brutal lava fire rain skill when you make a move, so you're not afraid to scare my little brother. Hee, leave it to us. The flowers of the 3 gunner sisters are all carved out of the same mold, but the personalities are very different. The eldest sister is relatively cold, but Lin Tian can still feel her tenderness towards him. It was the second younger sister who spoke. She had a more cheerful personality, and she also took the cute route. 3 pieces are speechless and can't speak at all. However, the 3 were the most violent among the 3, and she carried a heavy rocket launcher on her shoulder. Apparently she was the heavy gunner. The 3 sisters saw that the monster had been controlled by the savage girl in the team with various traps, and the monster gathering was completed. They also started firing. The second sister picked up 2 rapid-fire pistols and fired wildly at the monsters. The bullets ejected from her gun still had all kinds of brilliance lingering on them. Some bullets will explode when they touch monsters, causing secondary AoE damage. Some bullets shone with ice blue cold air, which could freeze monsters in place. There are also bullets shining with golden light, which seem to be armor-piercing bullets. In an instant, the bullets were as dense as raindrops, and all the monsters in front of him were shot into a sieve in an instant. Boom, boom, boom. The third sister also opened fire. Even she is more violent. The basic attack of the rocket can cause a wide range of explosive AoE damage. Of course, the eldest sister is not to be outdone. Clap hands. A satellite laser beam as thick as a bucket bombarded down from the endless sky. Wherever it passed, a huge amount of damage appeared from the monster's head, and its whole body was burnt black. I hate it. Sister Hua, why did you even use your awakening skills? The eldest sister snorted coldly and said nothing. Maintain high cold. That expression seemed to say, who made you to be ********* work so hard? The old lady also wants to join the robbery battle. The firepower bombardment of the three gunmen, coupled with the gentle rain of fire, did not even give that sick and delicate girl a chance to show up in close combat. These hundreds of mobs were instantly killed. However, in the face of such heavy fire bombardment, when you really wanted to see Lin Tian expressing surprise or fear, he liked to see this very handsome little brother panicked. Just like some men like to see the women they like show weakness. In fact, the roles are reversed, and women who are stronger also want to see men show such a side. However, he only saw calmness on Lin Tian's face. When you pursed her red lips, did little brother experience World War II? So calm, it can't be pretending. Haha. Hee hee hee. In an instant, all the girls around Lin Tian laughed together. Ying Yin Yin is really nice to hear. In the conference hall of the Jiangning Municipal Building, a crowd of spectators, especially a few old men who are very old and have not yet married. All of them blushed. To be honest, who wouldn't be envious of this? Being able to be surrounded by a group of superb beauties with upgrades. Even these people have changed their ways to amuse themselves. That sense of accomplishment is overwhelming. Damn it, why don't I have such a good skin? Why doesn't she have such a heaven-defying talent? This is simply an imperial enjoyment. Ahem. Captain Wanya, please focus on the dungeon strategy. Xinyuan Cheng was more serious, and he opened his mouth to remind. Wanya and the others in the copy are all wearing a headset, able to receive advice from the command group. Wanya chuckled. Yes, yes. 040. After clearing this big wave of mobs, the 10 members of the team did not continue to stay in place. Instead, continued to go deep into the copy. After leaving the area of the dungeon entrance, the density of mobs is not so high. In addition, Lin Tian's team configuration is indeed violent. Sometimes you don't even need Jiang as the Master T to pull monsters. Some mobs in the distance have already been fired by the fire experts with the longest range among the three gunner sisters. Then it was killed by the kite on the way before it could catch up with everyone. A king-level, 10-person dungeon, in front of these people, is really as easy as sleeping and drinking water. Certainly. Among these 10 people is a pure B*************************. D. That is Lin Tian. He is the Spring Commander, the Supreme OB position. Along the way, in order to find something for himself to do, he could only smear his mouth with honey and kept praising the 9 rank 4 power levelers around him. F****K. Headshot. My sister is amazing. My sister's bone horse is so sexy, can you let me ride it? Sister, yours big fireball is really big, I want to eat it. After getting acquainted, when you found out that Lin Tian was also an old driver, and his speed was not much slower than her own. Wanya, you better really mean fireball. The conversation between the two of them directly made the other people around them burst out laughing. Even the macho old Jiang gave Lin Tian a thumbs up. Only Ling Xuer looked dazed and couldn't get a laugh for a while, so she could only laugh awkwardly. The atmosphere of the team became more and more harmonious. The other 9 people accepted this task for various reasons. It is their job to protect Lin Tian and help Lin Tian brush up the copy. But now Lin Tian made their work more interesting. At least Lin Tian is not as weird and arrogant as other so-called geniuses. Very easy to talk, and will not boss around like a leader. The old guys who were watching the battle also laughed out loud at this scene. This little guy is really interesting. Such young people are too rare. It is a skill to spend the least amount of time to make the whole team harmonious. Chopping melons and vegetables all the way. A few minutes later, everyone came to the first fork in the instance of dark forest. After seeing the fork in the road, Wenya instantly understood. This copy should not be a purely linear copy. Wenya's guess was soon confirmed, because from the very beginning of entering the copy, the thief girl who had already entered the invisible state came back. She just wanted to be a scout. Now she has figured out the map and distribution of monsters in the large dungeon of this dark jungle. This copy is not a linear copy. The thief girl spoke. To Lin Tian's surprise, her voice was not as cold as her personality. On the contrary, it was a little soft, which made people wonder what her face looked like under the mask. The so-called linear dungeon means that the road in the dungeon has already been planned for the customs clearer, and you can only clear the dungeon according to this planned road. And this dark, dense forest is obviously not the case. Continue to go north at this five-forked road, and you can reach the temple in the middle of the dense forest, but the stone gate of the temple is closed, and there are 3 inlaid holes on the door. I preliminarily deduced that this should be an item in the dungeon similar to a key, which needs to be collected to open the stone gate. The other 3 forks lead to 3 bosses. There is a huge slime monster in the black swamp area in the east, and a group of goblin tribes corrupted by the strange black mist in the west. There is a goblin king boss there. In the Deadwood Forest in the southwest, there is a group of monsters called the Deadwood Wolves. In the middle of the pack of wolves, there is a wolf king who is also corrupted by that strange black mist. When Lin Tian heard this, his eyes lit up. Isn't this the goal of his mission? Xianyuan Chang and others who watched the battle discussed it, and quickly said to Wanya, "Then let's kill this corrupt wolf king first, and help Lin Tian complete the task first." Wanya also had the same idea. The purpose of their trip is to help Lin Tian complete the task. As for the customs clearance copy, it's all incidental. The squad moved on. The output is explosive, the healing is full, the tank is unrestrained, and the strength is excellent. This journey is more than relaxed and comfortable. It took less than 10 minutes. Everyone has already arrived in the Deadwood Forest in the southwest area of the instance. The trees here are withered. The sky is shrouded in thick and strange black clouds all the year round, and there are still black corruption residues that can be seen everywhere in the forest. Entering the Deadwood Forest, Lin Tian and others saw the Deadwood wolves that the thief girl said. These wolves are all skinny, covered with abscesses, and even have flesh and bones exposed. Sentinels of the wolf pack spotted the intruder. The next moment, packs of wolves emerged from various places. The king of the Deadwood wolf pack, a wolf king with snow-white hair and a body 7 or 8 times larger than the normal wolf clan, appeared. The right eye of this corrupt wolf king has been completely corrupted by the entangled black mist and turned into a disgusting tentacles, which are covered with disgusting eyeballs. It also has hideous bone spurs growing all over its body. No wonder it is called the corrupted wolf king. The degree of corruption is indeed deeper than that of its descendants. The boss battle begins, and this battle is a typical battle of boss plus constantly refreshing mobs. The attack of the corrupted wolf king hit the main Ti Lao Jiang, and it was no longer a tickle. But one mouthful is thousands of blood, and one paw is 3,000 blood in 3 combos. Moreover, the claws and teeth of this thing are clearly plagued and poisonous. Each attack will stack debuff for Old Ginger, coupled with the wolves and mobs who are constantly harassing and attacking. If it is an ordinary team, this is undoubtedly another typical high-pressure boss battle. This time, there were no people in the team joking with Lin Tian. Everyone knew that the boss battle should not be taken lightly, and they all devoted themselves to the battle. At this time, in the dark, dense forest, a shadow flashed quickly, and another red wolf about the size of the wolf king Lao Jiang was carrying appeared. This is a she-wolf. Its degree of corruption is even more serious than that of the male wolf king. The fur is basically gone, and the whole body is covered with hideous teeth and tentacles. If it wasn't for the fact that it still has some characteristics of typical canines, Lin Tian wouldn't even think it's a wolf. As soon as it appeared, it rushed towards the trio of gunmen, Lin Tian and others in the back row at an extremely fast speed. 041. No one thought of it. This boss battle is not a pure single boss plus mob battle. It's a double boss battle. One of the bosses is still the 6th child. Fortunately, Lin Tian and others are the first land reclamation team in this dungeon of Dark Forest. If you change to another team, seeing this boss for the first time is destined to cause heavy damage. Seeing the she-wolf dynasty rushing towards her back row, Lao Jiang yelled, "Sun thief, come and hit me." This is another taunting skill. It's a pity that Zhang's ridicule is useless. I saw 2 large characters appearing above the head of the black wolf. Immune. It didn't hesitate to move towards the center of the crowd. Shuepen opened his mouth wide and bit towards Lin Tian. At this moment, everyone was shocked. Grass. Don't eat sarcasm. Some boss mechanisms in the dungeon just don't take ridicule. They will randomly select targets to attack. Generally speaking, they are crispy in the back row. Usually the attack power of this kind of boss is not too high. Otherwise, If this type of boss bites one crispy skin, it is basically impossible for any team to pass the level. But the Dark Forest is a new dungeon. No one knows how powerful this boss is. What's more, Lin Tian is just a life profession, and his body is more fragile than cloth armor professions such as mages. No one dares to bet. Ling Xuer had sharp eyesight and quick hands, and instantly switched the main target of treatment to Lin Tian. Soon Lin Tian found that he had 7 more shield-like buffs on his body. Physical shield, spell shield, shield against bleeding, poisoned abnormal status damage. Everything you need. The she-wolf bites it down. A big red number appeared on Lin Tian's body. -0. 10,367 points of damage absorbed. Lin Tian himself was a little scared. Good guy, this damage should be a critical strike. If Ling Xuer hadn't reacted quickly enough, she would have been bitten by this she-wolf to crush her Tears of Eden. Lose a chance to avoid death. The she-wolf was not entirely without hatred. It just doesn't eat taunting skills, and whoever inflicts the most damage on it later will have the hatred. That is, the moment it suddenly appeared, it just made this battle a little more thrilling. The hatred of the female wolf was pulled away. The battle became even again. Lin Tian also had to sigh at this time. Ling Xuer is really the ceiling of the healing profession he has seen so far. The spell is instant. The amount of milk exploded. The auxiliary effect is comprehensive. Set shield, dispel debuff, release control. Lin Tian has seen Ling Xuer cast it. Most importantly, she seems to be able to multicast. Basically, as soon as you raise your hand, 7 or 8 spells are already effective at the same time. It's too perverted. The most important thing is that in the fighting state, Ling Xuer did not have the naive look before. She is more professional than anyone else. No wonder the people from the Dongjiang Provincial Department said that only one treatment for her is enough. After being output by the 3 Gunman sisters and Wen Yi first, the female wolf lost about 10% of her HP and then lost her hatred again. Fleeing thousands of miles away, he fled into the dense forest. It seems that this she-wolf boss is specially in charge of sneak attack during the battle, to catch people by surprise. But at this time, the blood volume of the other Wolf King has dropped to half. The output is too brutal. The Wolf King called out sadly. The next moment, the female wolf reappeared from a dark corner of the dense forest. It was obvious that the boss battle had turned. The female wolf stopped attacking and began to face the enemy head-on with the male Wolf King. This kind of twin boss generally has a mechanism. That is, if one of the party's blood volume reaches 0, the other party will either enter a tricky berserk state, or will return blood to the party whose blood volume has returned to 0. Therefore, most of the strategies for the twin bosses are to repair the blood evenly, trying to make the 2 bosses die at the same time. Soon the blood volume of the female Wolf King also dropped to half. At this moment, Xin Yuancheng and others who had been on the sidelines of the battle heard loud exclamations from the think tank behind them. Leaders, we just re-examined Lin Tian's task requirements, and the requirements clearly stated that he participated in killing the corrupt Wolf King. We carefully compared the text descriptions of many other professions that require killing a certain monster, and found that if it is in a team state, it says to kill a certain boss. As long as the team members kill the boss, it is considered complete. But if it says, participate in the kill, and there are 2 more words, it will be completely different. It is necessary for this person to also cause damage and output to the boss to be considered as participating in the kill. As soon as this statement came out, everyone was shocked. They immediately felt a little unreasonable. A life profession, without any means of output skills, how to participate in the kill? Let Lin Tian hammer the Wolf King with his hands? Impossible. With his strength and attack power, it is difficult to even break the defense. The think tank seems to be aware of everyone's doubts. Then he continued to add, behind the job-changing God Stone is the main God, or the will of heaven. The gods are watching everything, and he will definitely not issue a mission that cannot be completed at all. That is to say, the gods are sure that Lin Tian must have the means to cause harm to the Wolf King. This moment, everyone present seemed to understand something. Xin Yuancheng picked up the microphone and quickly said, except for the main T and healing, the other outputs stop. Then Zuan Yuanqing told Lin Tian the details of the task, analyzed by the think tank. Lin Tian was full of question marks. F***Kid. I'm just waiting for my power leveling to help me kill bosses and do tasks. I'm a good B******************. D. Why can't you swim all of a sudden? After thinking for a moment, Lin Tian understood the meaning of the job-changing God Stone. He also knew how to participate in the kill. Lin Tian looked at the people who had stopped outputting, and then twisted a switch on his belt. The next moment, A golden shield energy field was projected. That's right. This is the result of Lin Tian spending half a day modifying the external shape of the particle shield generator that day. He successfully changed the big iron ball into an iron belt. Although it is still a little troublesome to wear, it is better than holding a ball stupidly. After the shield appeared, Lin Tian gently turned the knob to set the shield's covering range at about 5 meters. This range is enough to include everyone. The 5th watch is over. In the past few days, the code words have exploded, and the young author is about to suffer from lumbar and cervical spondylosis. Poor little author, let's get some evaluation votes. It hasn't passed 300 until now. It would be even better to have monthly tickets and tips. 042. After the golden shield appeared, everyone was taken aback. What is this? Ling Xuer's skills? Ling Xuer also had a cute face. No, she does have similar skills, but she is useless. Lin Tian, everyone stay closer to me. Oh, except for you. Brother Jiang, you step out of the shield first, and then you come in after you are let in. The macho old Jiang scratched his head. He didn't quite understand what Lin Tian meant, but he still responded, okay, I'll follow your arrangement. Wen Ya, the 3 gunner sisters, the sickly knight, the assassin lady and the savage girl were all a little closer to Lin Tianjian. Then, under the watchful eyes of everyone, Lin Tian took out a black grenade from his portable space. At the same time, he told Lao Jiang, brother, first step on a war trampoline, and then get ridiculed by the crowd and gather monsters. Old Jiang complied. At the same time, Lin Tian turned his head and said to the savage lady next to him, Miss Sister, after old Jiang gathers monsters, you can use freezing traps or any other traps. Keep that she-wolf under control. Don't let it get away. Do you understand? Lin Tian had already slowed down his speech as much as possible. He was afraid that the wild lady would not understand what he was talking about. Miss Savage gave Lin Tian a supercilious look, and then babbled a lot of things that Lin Tian couldn't understand. But he saw a freezing trap fly to the she-wolf's feet. The female wolf stepped on it, and the next moment, it was completely sealed in the ice, unable to move. On the other side, Lao Zhang's gathering of monsters has also been completed. The Wolf King and mobs were all pulled in front of him. Lin Tian, brother, run back. Quick, get in the hood. Of course, Lin Tian didn't forget to let the shield open to him, allowing him to enter and exit at will. So Lao Zhang directly used his warrior skills to help him and flew to Lin Tian's side in an instant. Then Lin Tian gracefully threw the mythical grenade in his hand. By the way, Lin Tian also remembered an emoji from his previous life. Farewell. The grenade flew out of Lin Tian's hand, flew out of the light shield, and hit the forehead of the female wolf who was frozen in it and couldn't move. Lin Tian took out a pair of sunglasses from nowhere and put them on elegantly. This series of confusing operations. It really made Wen Ya and the others unable to understand. They don't know what Lin Tian is doing, but at least the shield Lin Tian used really kept those mobs and wolves out. Even if a few wolf cubs sneaked in when Lin Tian had just turned on the light shield before, they were instantly killed by everyone. It is absolutely safe in the hood. Wen Ya and the others couldn't understand, but everyone who was on the sidelines understood it, especially Li Ming. This is too strong a sense of sight, the strongest combination of contradictions. He understands. The moment the mythical grenade touched the ice, it burst into an extremely dazzling light. Let everyone scream strangely and then close their eyes together. However, it is still not enough. The eyelids are too thin and the glare is too intense. Ever since, they were the same as the soldiers of the Huban camp who were stationed at the beast tide before. He covered his eyes with his hands, bent down, and turned into an ostrich. Lin Tian still maintained his elegance, because the sunglasses he was wearing were real sunglasses. Only ink, the kind without a mirror. No light at all. Now it is not an exaggeration for Lin Tian to say that he is blind. Then Lin Tian took out a pair of earplugs with the same excellent sound insulation effect and put them on for himself. Boom! There was a terrifying cracking sound. Everyone who covered their ears just now felt like they were going deaf. Then the earth under his feet was roaring, trembling, almost let them stand still. Then they heard the sound of falling trees, and from a distance, the temple in the middle of the forest seemed to have collapsed. After more than a minute, the glare and roar all stopped. However, there was still a vast expanse of whiteness in front of everyone's eyes, and there were constant rumbles in their ears. Vertigo, tinnitus. Ling Xuer waved her magic staff, instantly performed a purification technique, and all these negative states disappeared. At this time, Everyone raised their heads and found out in astonishment. The pack of wolves and even the entire deadwood forest in front of them disappeared. In front of him and the others, a terrifying pit appeared. The gray haze above the dark forest was completely torn apart, and the entire sky was dyed orange. A huge mushroom cloud is slowly rising. They were at the center of the nuclear explosion just now. Mother, mother. As the Master T, Lao Jiang, who has seen the big world, couldn't hold back anymore, and even popped out his hometown dialect. The sickly girl looked at her hands and feet. Life is still there. Immediately astonished. In the center of a nuclear explosion, how could he remain unscathed? Those who were on the sidelines were also dumbfounded. Seeing this devastating scene again, their legs would still tremble. No way. Who made this the strongest weapon of mankind in the last civilization era? The third of the three sisters of the gunman was completely stunned. Now she only feels that her various heavy weapons, heavy artillery, are like toys on the street stall. Just now she thought that the grenade thrown by Lin Tian was a toy. I'm ashamed to think about it now. After all, the professional level one of the gunner system will have the skill of throwing grenades. But why is there such a big gap between grenade and grenade? Wenya, the well-informed team leader, was even more stunned. Because in fact, she has been staring at one thing during this dungeon trip. That is the squad DPS stat. It is also a statistical panel to measure who has the highest output and who is the B**************** D in the team. She had always been the champion before, stabilizing the three sisters of the gunners and becoming the first in DPS. She was even a little proud. Humph. It's not that my wife has the highest output, you alluring sluts. However, now, when she sees the string of numbers at the top of the DPS statistics, she even has to count silently in her heart. How many zeros are there? Number 1. Lin Tian, total damage, 13.936 billion. Number 2. Wenya, total damage, 8.9247 million. Anti-bar, there is no way to write specific numbers in Arabic numerals, and they will be blocked and turned into asterisks. Here we directly simplify and use Chinese units, but in fact, other people only see numbers when they look at statistics. Wenya almost closed herself off. It seems that after half an hour of tossing by myself, the output has not reached a fraction of others. So F************* G scary. My mission is complete. Lin Tian took off his sunglasses and earplugs, stretched his waist, and exercised his muscles and bones. Well, today's exercise volume has reached the standard. The system has just prompted. He successfully participated in killing the corrupted Wolf King, and he has already succeeded in one turn. Now Lin Tian can directly manufacture mythical potions. However, as soon as Lin Tian said this, he found that several output occupations, including Wenya, all cast extremely resentful eyes at him. Obviously, you can only brush a copy. Why are you so excited to invite us here? Fortunately, they still think that they are awesome and handsome. In Lin Tian's praise, he gradually lost himself. Looking back now, it turned out that the clown was actually me, especially Wenya. She finally understands now. Why was Lin Tian calm when he saw the heavy artillery of the three gunman sisters? That's because this forced attack is a nuclear explosion. See a lot. 043. Except for DPS stats. In fact, there are treatment statistics. At this moment, Ling Shuer also discovered that she was no longer the number 1 in the treatment list. Lin Tian is still at the top of the list, because if the shield resists damage for teammates, it is also counted as healing. At this moment, Lin Tian's healing volume is more than 200 million. This is easy to understand. The damage of the mythical grenade ranges from more than 20 million to 30 million, and there are 10 people present. Isn't the amount of treatment more than 200 million? And because Ling Shuer is resistant to Jiang, the healing volume of this dungeon has not exceeded the million level. A lot of her healing is overflow healing and is not counted. No matter what, the copy will continue. They are still Lin Tian's power leveling. But the arrogance of these people has been completely smoothed out by Lin Tianlu at this moment. They really see the difference in the world. They are of high rank. They are the main combat occupations. But if there is a real fight, none of the 9 of them is Lin Tian's single-handed enemy. Lin Tian opened a shield and then fired a grenade. They don't even have scum left. A lot of equipment came out. Ling Shuer was not hit hard. Maybe it was the first time for her to team up with others to play a dungeon, so she was a little excited to see Lin Tian throwing a grenade down, and the equipment was all over the floor. She walked to the middle of the big pit and picked up 2 pieces of equipment emitting purple light, and a stone fragment that shone red. When you also calmed down at this time, her attitude towards Lin Tian at this moment is no longer liking and loving. More awe. She went to the pit, picked up the equipment and said, "No one should improve the level 50 purple equipment, right?" Everyone shook their heads. Their average ratings are all close to 100. Only Ling Xuer is slightly lower, only level 85. They don't like these level 50 purple outfits anymore, and Lin Tian couldn't wear it either. So when you decided, then I will keep these equipments first, and then sell them in commercial shops after going out, and we will share the money equally. Everyone nodded. As for the white and green clothes in the pit, these should all be dropped by the Wolfpack mobs. No one cares. For this group of people, they still think that these garbage things take up space in their backpacks. When you picked up the red fragment again and looked at it carefully, a message appeared in front of her eyes. Ritual Key 1. Type. Miscellaneous. Description. An important prop in the dungeon Dark Forest. I don't know what it is used for. Remarks. This item cannot be taken out of the dungeon. It seems that my guess is correct. The stone gate of the temple in the north is indeed inlaid with these things before it can be opened. After packing up the spoils and picking up the keys, everyone set off again. Not long after, everyone returned to the Five-Forked Road. Just when everyone was going to continue to go east, to capture the Goblin King on the right and get another key. But Lin Tian stopped. "I won't accompany you guys to go on. I just changed jobs successfully, and I plan to make potions directly here. In this way, you can also help me test the effect of the potion later. I need to collect some feedback." After Lin Tian turned around, he unlocked the pharmacy branch. As the name suggests, this branch can manufacture various potions. Pharmacy consumables in this world are mainly divided into 3 categories. The first category is called potion. Generally speaking, you can get a one-time effect after drinking it. For example, the most common life potion. Just drinking it will restore blood volume. But normal potions use CDs, that is to say, you can't achieve the effect of continuous healing for yourself by pouring life potions. If this could be done, there would be no need for a nanny to exist. The second category is called compound. This is a potion that allows professionals to gain attributes for a certain period of time. For example, the tenacity mixture that Lin Tian is currently taking effect is a mixture that can increase his blood volume and defense within 6 hours. For a professional, only one mixture can be in effect at the same time. Therefore, there is no such thing as knocking all the mixtures once to achieve a perfect improvement. The last third category is the most special type of medicine. Potion. Potions are more powerful than potions and potions. Drinking it will have a permanent effect on professionals, either a permanent attribute improvement or a permanent change of appearance or gaining a certain ability. He even degenerates into a distorted follower of a dungeon boss, transforming from a professional to a monster. It's all happened in history. Lin Tian stood at the Five-Forked Road, chose a relatively flat and open place, and began to take things from his portable space. The first thing Lin Tian took out was a foldable table. This table is not only foldable, but also has 8 supports after being unfolded, and the table legs can even penetrate into the ground to stabilize the entire table without shaking. This is Lin Tian's console. Then Lin Tian took out 2 smaller foldable desktops. These 2 countertops are used to place pharmaceutical raw materials, various containers, and balances. After setting the table, Lin Tian took a lot of colorful herbs and plants out of the portable space. The raw materials for most medicinal formulations are flowers, leaves, rhizomes, or seeds of various plants. In the formula of very few potions, the tissues of certain special creatures are required, such as eyeballs and brains. But Lin Tian always felt that if those things were added, the medicine would be unbearable, so he still resisted. Afterwards, Lin Tian took out a bunch of bottles and jars again. There are stone bowls, pounders, beakers, measuring cups. There are all kinds of things, not much different from what those chemists in the previous life were tinkering with. Finally, Lin Tian moved out several machines from the portable space. Wall breakers, centrifuges, dryers, portable refrigerators. Click. Lin Tian pressed the particle shield generator switch on his belt. A golden shield force field enveloped Lin Tian and all his arranged objects. In this way, he can concentrate on the preparation of potions and will not be affected by the mobs that may be refreshed in the instance. There is no need for others to protect him. When Ye and the others looked at Lin Tian as if he was juggling, and directly transformed the eerie dungeon into his medicine refining workshop, they all didn't know what was going on and called it awesome. The leaders of Dongjiang and Jiangning were on the sidelines. They also looked at each other in blank dismay. Good guy. This young man. Especially Su Tianlong. At this moment, he doesn't know where to complain. I gave you 2 space rings with a space of 4 by 4 meter, and you use them to hold these things? 044. Why are you still standing there? I don't need your protection anymore. You go to clear the copy, so that we can get out of this ghost place sooner. Lin Tian looked at the sluggish Wen Ye and the others, waved his hand, and saw off the guests directly. Wen Ye nodded. Lead the team away. They also want to end this dungeon as soon as possible. After Wen Ye and the others left, Lin Tian also started his own work. He first puts the materials that need to be refrigerated, crushed, or dried into specific machines to start the primary processing. Then arrange the bottles and jars on the table according to their capacity or purpose. After the raw materials are broken or transformed, they must be packed and prepared in these containers. The people on the sidelines of the battle were all dazed. Good guy, what should I do if I'm sleepy? They really don't understand the connotation. They just feel that Lin Tian is so professional. See, this is called professional.jpg. Of course, in the think tank present, there are still several professionals who have mastered the branch of pharmacy. After they saw Lin Tian's delicate and quick technique, as well as his unconventional and reasonable thinking, they were all shocked. Hiss, it turns out it can still be like this. Damn it. With this stirring method and this temperature, can the juice of the wood stemweed and the flower liquid of Tianhe flower be mixed together? So creative. For those who know how to do it, watch Lin Tian prepare the potion. What a treat. Xin Yuancheng, He Chang'an, and Wu Fangcheng, the 3 bigwigs from the provincial department, heard the exclamations of the think tanks behind them one after another. Also surprised. This little guy really has hard things in the professional field. It can even amaze those pharmacy students whose proficiency has reached the master level. With this rigorous academic attitude and quick way of doing things, coupled with his super high dual quotient, even if he doesn't have a mythical talent, he will become a national scholar of our country in the future. It is a certainty. After working in politics for many years, Wu Fangcheng, who has seen thousands of people, exclaimed to He Chang'an, the director of education next to him. He Chang'an was also amazed. Jiang Ning really produced an incredible talent this time. Fortunately, he is not as bright as a pearl. A whispered conversation between 2 big bosses. The words still fell into the ears of Su Tianlong and others who were eavesdropping. The smiles on the faces of the 3 of them could not be suppressed. Proud. It really gave Jiang Ning a face. Inside the copy, in the absence of Lin Tian, the efficiency of killing monsters of Wen Ye 9 has been increased, because they don't need to worry about Lin Tian's feelings, and they don't need to be distracted to protect Lin Tian. In addition, there is an inexplicable anger in Wen Ye's heart. Her spells became even more violent. Cuckoo. Under the indiscriminate bombardment of this group of violent 4-turn professionals, countless goblins were brutally murdered, making all kinds of screams. Soon, the 9-member team advanced to the eastern boss of the dungeon, Goblin King. The Goblin King's skill mechanism doesn't have many tricks, but there is a timer bar. That is, the Goblin King will run away after 3 minutes after starting the battle. If they escaped by it, not only would they not get the equipment, they would not even be able to get the key to unlock the final temple boss. Don't think that if this boss fails, it will be sent out of the dungeon. Instead, you have to wait for half an hour after the Goblin King is refreshed, and then start the strategy until it succeeds. 3 minutes is the hard condition for testing the team's output, which is too easy for Wen Ye and others. Because of this condition, the Goblin King's blood volume is not much. Compared with the double wolf boss, it is much less. So it only took 1 minute for the Goblin King to burp on the spot. It turned out that the people who surrounded it scattered and fled in all directions, highlighting a reality in the world. The Goblin King also revealed 2 level 50 purple outfits and a green fragment. After picking up the loot, the 9 of them headed straight to the polluted lake in the south without looking back. Killed King Slime. King Slime's mechanic is the other extreme compared to the quick kills Goblin King demands. When the health of this thing reaches half, it will be forcibly split into 2. The 2 avatars had more than half of their HP and continued to split into 4. Just like this, as long as one of the dolls has 0 blood volume and there are other clones, it will not die. So it is necessary to collectively repair the blood. However, the output of Wen Ye and others is too violent. When King Slime splits into the last 16 small clones in the later stage, they may lose a clone in seconds if they use a big skill. So in the final stage, you can only use low-damage small skills to consume. Got 3 keys. Come to the stone gate of the temple in the north, and fit the 3 keys into the hole in the stone gate. The next moment, the entire temple trembled. The stone door slowly opened amidst the tremors. Behind the stone gate is a damp and dark tunnel full of torches. Straight to the ground. Who is it? How dare you interrupt my ceremony? Believers, kill them. An eerie hoarse voice came from below. Don't think about it. This should be the final boss. It was old Jiang who led the way into the tunnel. This tunnel is extremely narrow. Above, in front of, and even behind, there will be believer mobs in black sacrificial robes spawned. The tunnel itself also has traps and traps. Undoubtedly, another wave of extremely disgusting high-pressure mob battles. But none of these troubled Wen Yajiu. Soon they entered the center of the temple, offering sacrifices to the main hall. The main hall was filled with candles, and countless believers knelt down on the ground, praying devoutly to a certain black god whose face could not be seen clearly in the center of the altar. In front of the statue, a high priest turned around with a hideous face. You all have to die. The final boss begins. There are still many skills and mechanisms of Shadow Priest Hamuel. He has two forms, a body form and a shadow form. Shadow form is in another parallel world. Someone needs to kill the believers in order to gain the ability to enter another world. It is also necessary to have the HP of both worlds go to 0 at the same time in order to kill this boss. After a few minutes of fighting, Shadow Priest Hamuel falls. Master, will revenge me for me. Everyone let out a sigh of relief. Call. It's over. This dungeon took more than an hour to clear. The speed is okay. After all, it's the first time I've seen it. If you brush it later, you can skip a lot of mobs with experience, and the efficiency will be higher. Everyone is waiting for the final settlement and the prompt to send out the copy. However, to everyone's surprise, all the candles in the altar went out at the same moment. In the darkness, the corpse of the Shadow Priest Hamuel slowly turned into a shadow and merged into the statue beside him. The idol suddenly opened its scarlet eyes. Copy outside. Lin Tian suddenly realized that the hazy sunlight above his head had disappeared. It's getting dark. The entire dungeon has entered the night. When Ya's complexion changed, is there still a hidden stage? 045. Be careful, the situation is wrong. In the dark temple worship hall, when Ya opened her mouth to remind everyone to be careful. As a woman, her sixth sense is already crazily reminding her of danger. Having experienced many battles, she chose to follow her heart. She trusts that intuition. In fact, it is more than gentle. At the moment when the hall fell into darkness, everyone had a bad premonition. Now they are in the dungeon, and there are no settlement experience rewards and customs clearance prompts, which means that they still have bosses that have not been dealt with. None of them had encountered this situation before, but they had heard of it. There will be hidden bosses in some difficult dungeons. Hidden boss does not necessarily appear in every dungeon clearance. The probability of occurrence is extremely low, but once you hit it, it's tricky. It might even kill the group. Of course, the greater the risk, the greater the benefits, and the rewards for customs clearance will be more generous. A 10-player dungeon with king-level difficulty. Why are there so many names and idiots? Fear of the dark is an instinct imprinted in the genes of all human beings. Now everyone instinctively doesn't want to stay in this hall any longer. Who knows what monsters are waiting in the dark for an opportunity? Not good. Lin Tian is still outside. No matter what the hidden boss is, let's meet him first. When you made a prompt decision, it doesn't matter how the dungeon hides the boss or how to clear it. Lin Tian's safety is the most important thing. Ling Shuer put a buff that increases movement speed on everyone. The 9 people left the sacrificial hall at lightning speed, followed the dark tunnel, and returned the same way. The situation was urgent, and everyone didn't care about letting Lao Jiang, the Master T, open the way ahead. When Ya was the first to walk out of the temple's underground palace. After leaving the underground palace, when Ya found out in astonishment. At this moment, the entire dungeon has turned into night. There are no stars in the sky, no clouds. There is only a weird purple crescent. There was a smell of blood in the air, and the chanting of those enchanted believers in the previous sacrificial hall could be faintly heard. The atmosphere of the entire dungeon became more terrifying and weird. The feeling of uneasiness in her heart became stronger when you tried to contact the people on the sidelines through the headset. However, only a rustling sound came back from the headset. It seems that this dungeon has entered a deeper dimension, so the communication was temporarily interrupted. There is no way but to wait for those responsible for technology outside the venue to strengthen the signal and restore communication. 9 people hurried all the way. Soon, I saw the golden shield formed by Lin Fan at the five-forked road ahead, intact as before. Dozens of mobs that were more violent than before were refreshed outside the shield, constantly besieging the shield. However, that golden shield is as stable as Mount Tai. The 9 people were temporarily relieved. Thinking about it, after Lin Fan detonated the grenade, the amount of healing that was generated was directly hundreds of millions. You can figure out how outrageous his shield value is. After walking in, when you saw that Lin Fan's expression was focused inside the golden shield, and he was not distracted by any external objects at all, still concocting potions. At this moment, he has passed the first processing procedure of breaking and grinding raw materials. Those measuring cups, flasks have started to contain all kinds of liquids. Some are even being heated by alcohol lamps. Just when everyone breathed a sigh of relief, something happened suddenly. Well, there was a painful muffled grunt. Everyone followed the reputation. I saw the thief girl who was mainly in charge of dungeon reconnaissance before wearing a mask, clutching her waist, her embroidered eyebrows frowned. Then, when you clearly saw that the hand she was covering her waist was soaked in bright red blood, in an instant, everyone drew their weapons. Be alert. Swipe. 7 or 8 streaks of milky white light flashed across the thief girl. Soon the horrible blood hole in his waist began to heal rapidly. The blood volume is also full. What's going on? Did you see who attacked you? The thief girl shook her head. She is the professional with the highest agility and the highest dodge in the team. The housekeeping skill of the thief class is sneak attack and assassination, but she was stabbed by someone today, and she didn't even find out what stabbed her. Ah, one wave is not flat. Another wave rises again. This time, it was the turn of the eldest sister among the 3 sisters of the gunman to be severely punished. She exclaimed. Everyone could see that there were 5 or 6 bullet holes on her back, and blood was still gurgling. People in the crowd kept getting hurt. The thief girl was stabbed by a sharp weapon. The head of the shooter's eldest sister was pierced by bullets. The backs of the following people even suffered serious burns. It looked as if Wanya, the only fire master in the team, directly attacked him with a spell. Under the treatment of Ling Shuer, the strongest healing profession, these injuries recovered quickly. But everyone is horrified at this moment. Don't be afraid that the enemy is too strong. I'm afraid you don't even know what the enemy is. Before, there was a saying on the internet that most people would say when they saw a certain awesome monster appearing on the stage. That is, if you have the ability, show your blood. In fact, this is a means of transforming an invisible threat into a tangible threat. You will never know how terrifying this boss is until the blood bar is on. But after showing the blood bar, you will feel that he is not invincible. Well, this time, even old Jiang, the main T with the highest defense in the team, was injured. And this time it seemed that he was being bombarded head-on by some kind of heavy firepower weapon. The thick iron armor on his body was not damaged at all, but he suffered serious explosion damage. If he hadn't been determined, this blow might have knocked him unconscious. In the team panel, Lao Zhang's blood volume also dropped from about 100,000 to 20,000 to 30,000 in an instant. This is really too scary. If his defense and various damage-reducing passive skills were included, the initial damage of this attack would have to be at least 200,000 yuan before he could be seriously injured in an instant. Everyone starts hurting. It was directly attacked and injured for unknown reasons. The 9 people, including Wanya, were all messed up. They are 4-turn elite professionals, that's right. But this tricky situation at hand, it's something they've never seen before. Ling Shuer kept waving her staff. Continue treatment for all. She is also a little busy. It seems that the frequency of that kind of attack is getting faster and faster, and the damage of the attack is getting more and more violent. Things are heading for the worst. At this time, it is naturally impossible for Lin Fan to concentrate on the preparation of the medicine in his hand. He opened his mouth and shouted, "Shadow! It's a shadow. Pay attention to your own shadows." 046 was reminded by Lin Fan. Suddenly everyone looked at their feet. A purple moon hung high in the sky, and the black mist that had previously shrouded the dense forest dissipated. The sky is extremely clear, allowing the moonlight to fall naturally. Everyone's shadows dragged on the ground. When you looked at the shadow of the first injured thief girl before, and her pupils shrank suddenly. Wrong. The movement of the thief girl at this moment is to bow her body, ready to fight at any time. His right hand only touched the dagger at his waist, but did not pull it out. However, her shadow turned out to be in a completely standing posture. The dagger at his waist was also pulled out by it. How could the shadow and the movement of the person be inconsistent? It was as if the shadow had separated from the body and became a living thing. When you couldn't see the expression of the thief girl's shadow, but she could see the shadow's movements. The shadow held the dagger in both hands and raised it high. The next moment, it suddenly stabbed towards its own chest. Careful, when you just opened her mouth to remind her, she realized that something was wrong with her own shadow. Her shadow waved the staff as if casting a spell, and the target of the spell was the scourged night girl not far away. Puff! First, the thief girl vomited blood. In her chest, where her own shadow was aiming at, a terrifying blood hole suddenly appeared, and the leather armor she was wearing wasn't even damaged. On the other side, the scourged night girl is the same as Uncle Zhang before. With a scream, traces of scalding and burns appeared on his body. Understood. At this moment, everyone understands. The attackers are their own shadows. The most outrageous and tricky thing is that the shadows of the three sisters of the shooter shot at the shadows of others. Then the others were directly shot and injured and lost blood. It doesn't matter if you are a warrior in heavy armor or a priest in cloth armor. Shadow's attack is real damage. Regardless of armor and defense, you will be directly injured. When you quickly summed up this rule, however, know this, and even if there is preparation in mind, also meaningless, because shadows don't just attack other people's shadows. It will also attack its own body. How to prevent this? How to deal with this? Everyone panicked. Ling Shuer, who was the healer, also got busy. Her staff kept waving, and the light lit up. Applies healing to teammates. However, it can only be said to be a drop in the bucket, because she discovered that this monster who can manipulate their own shadows is definitely sane. After seeing that she was the only healer in the team, the shadows of other people started to focus on attacking him alone. Ling Shuer also started to get hurt, and others try to use daggers or shoot at their own shadows, but their attacks all hit the air. Can't cause any damage to the shadow monster at all. As the captain of the team, when you didn't know what to do, they can't contact the outside world, can't catch the real body of the enemy. I can only watch myself and others killing each other. A king-level dungeon? How can the hidden boss be so terrifying? Things started to get out of control. Actually, those who were watching the battle in Jiangning's conference room had already restored the communication. The video screen can already be seen again. It's just that the voice communication will take some time. They're all anxious now. The current situation has seriously exceeded everyone's expectations, and the think tank has also become busy. They are also thoroughly investigating the possible true identity of this hidden boss. Just when everyone is in a mess. Standing in the light shield, Lin Tian focused on two tasks, and his hands were very steady. He didn't take his eyes off the reagent in front of him either, but he is also paying attention to the situation of everyone. The enemy can control your shadow attack, so reduce the area of the shadow and see if this can weaken it. Priest, create a few more spheres of light around you. Attention, what I said is up, down, left, right, front, back, and all directions. You must create a ball of light. When you listen to Lin Tian's instructions, opened his mouth. Indeed, this is the most conventional way of thinking. She thought about it too, but she still vetoed it, because everyone knows the most obvious truth. Where there is light, there is shadow. If you let Ling Shuer create a ball of light, wouldn't it increase the area and number of shadows instead? Do you think they are not fast enough to destroy the group? The think tanks outside the venue also shook their heads. It means that Lin Tian's idea is really not good. It might even kill everyone. However, Lin Tian's next sentence made Hong Zhong ring in everyone's ears, and they were enlightened instantly. Mage, give everyone a levitation spell. Don't step on the ground. Float. I don't know if you guys know what an operating room is. To put it simply, in the last era of civilization, when Blue Star hadn't been gamified, it was a specific room where people were treated and diseased tissues were removed. The existence of shadows would affect the vision of surgeons at that time. So people at that time invented something called a shadowless lamp. A light hits an object, and when the light is blocked by the object, a shadow will be produced. This thing is called the umbra. And if there are multiple angles, light rays from different positions hit the same object, and the light will even shine on the umbra of the object, then the umbra area of the object will be greatly reduced, and the color and depth will appear. Layering. The color that is lighter than the umbra and appears gray is called the penumbra. If the position is adjusted so that there are enough lights and the directions and angles are comprehensive enough, the area of the umbra may be weakened to almost disappear, and the remaining penumbra will almost not look like a shadow. All in all, Ling Shuer, Make a ball of light. Up, down, left, right, front, back, everywhere. The more the better. The more spheres of light. The shadow and the light overlap each other, greatly weakening it. Lin Tian's explanation and countermeasures. Everyone who listened was dumbfounded. For those who have read ancient books and learned about the so-called operating room and shadowless lamp, they can understand what Lin Tian means. But for the new generation, who grew up with gamified ideas, what Lin Tian said is no different from the heavenly scriptures. But when Ye and Ling Shuer didn't think much about it, even if they don't quite understand the deep meaning in Lin Tian's words, they all did as well. When you gave everyone a levitation technique and everyone was floating in the air, then Ling Shuer used the lighting spell of the Holy Light Department, the Holy Light Ball, according to Lin Tian's instructions. In an instant, dozens of light spheres exuding pure white holy light appeared around everyone, even including the gap between them and the void under their feet. After the light sphere lit up, when Ye and the others discovered it in astonishment, it turned out to be true. Their shadows have almost disappeared. Even if it didn't disappear, it was as faint as if it didn't exist. Sombra's attack power and frequency are all limited. Efficient. It really works. All the leaders watching the battle stood up suddenly, with surprise on their faces. They always thought that Lin Tian's talent lies in making all kinds of creations. Now I found out. This young man is not chaotic in the face of danger. With one mind and two tasks, the movement of his hands is nonstop, and it is obvious that his preparation process has reached the final stage. Soon, a mythical potion will be born. However, even under such circumstances, he was still able to analyze the situation with extremely keen observation, then use rational and calm thinking to find a solution. And his method is practical. Where do you need a think tank? Lin Tian's mind is the strongest think tank of the entire dungeon team. Lin Tian, we don't know how many surprises you have. 047. What a mouthful. Then you go to die first. A strange female voice suddenly sounded in everyone's ears. Just at the moment when this weird voice appeared, in the task list of everyone in the dungeon, there is an extra line of words. Kill the hidden boss in the dungeon. The sixth apostle, the shadow of Sirocco, to clear the dungeon. The true form of the enemy has appeared. Apostle? What is this? Even the well-informed one yet doesn't know what kind of boss the apostle is. In the meeting room outside the field, Xinyuan Cheng suddenly stood up. Others don't know what the so-called apostles are, but he does. He Chang'an's complexion also changed. At his level, it is natural that he has heard of certain secrets that can only be mastered by the military. Xinyuan Cheng knew that everyone was looking at him. He didn't hide it either, and directly revealed his so-called apostle status. The so-called apostles refer to the 12 top epic bosses that have been discovered around the world so far. Most of these bosses exist in large-scale dungeons that require a joint strategy of hundreds of people, and a very small number of aliens become wild bosses and wander around the world. What they have in common is that before their names, they all have the title of the apostle. And the levels are all displayed? Levels, it is speculated that they should all be above level 200. Everyone heard the words. My head is buzzing. 100-person team copy. Isn't that a world-class difficult dungeon? The so-called world-class dungeon refers to the inner space of the dungeon, which is as huge as a world like Blue Star. It is not comparable to a small plain like the Dark Forest. Most importantly, is the difficulty still epic. This sixth apostle, Sirocco, is the final boss in Elon Hill, the Kingdom of Eternal Night. In the 100-person epic world dungeon, the entrances to world-class dungeons with apostle bosses are not fixed, and will be opened and closed over time. At present, according to the news from our brother army, the Sword Army, it is judged that the 10th Apostle Hylobe has become more active in the Asian region recently. The copy entrance is likely to be opened in the near future. When the dungeon plane of the Dark Jungle is opened, Jiang Ning will face a third-level beast tide. And if a large-scale world-class dungeon like Ellen Hill, the Kingdom of Eternal Night, is opened in our country, unless we send people in to attack it immediately, the consequences will be disastrous. Because the Kingdom of Eternal Night has not been successfully cleared by any country in the world, so the information about the mechanism and skills of this boss is blank. But this boss is currently the boss that causes the most deaths of professionals in the instance. Hearing what Xinyuan Cheng said, Wu Fangcheng next to him frowned. No, isn't this Sherlock the final boss of the world-class dungeon? And no country in the world has cleared the Kingdom of Eternal Night, right? Why does it cause other professionals to die in the dungeon? Xin Yuancheng's eyes were deep, because, from the information we have before, we can infer that the ability of this boss should be related to manipulating shadows. She can lurk in the shadows of all living things. Because of this characteristic, it also has countless shadow clones. Almost all apostle bosses have their supporters, or something similar to believers. For example, the shadow worship sect in Lin Tian's dungeon probably believes in the sixth apostle Sherlock. Sherlock's shadow clone sometimes responds to the call of its followers, which is why Lin Tian and the others encountered this hidden boss. Everyone understands. Bad luck. It happens to be a newly appeared copy. Before entering, who would know that the final boss of this dungeon is inextricably linked to the apostle-level boss? If you know this information in advance, then the risk assessment of this dungeon must not be assessed by a 10-player team with king-level difficulty. Has the communication not been restored yet? Xin Yuancheng asked anxiously. He must now pass such important information to everyone in the dungeon. See if there is a way to break the game. In the copy world, Lin Tian, who is located in a different dimensional world, has a slightly different time flow than the outside world. The outside world is enough for Xin Yuancheng to reveal the apostle's secrets to everyone. But in the world in the dungeon, the time point is exactly the moment when the sixth apostle, the shadow of Sirocco, appeared. There is a distance between Lin Tian and Wen Ya and the others. And it seems that it was because the shadow of Sherlock judged that Lin Tian was a waste-life profession. There is no reason to be threatening. There was no attack on Lin Tian. Now Ling Xuer's shadowless lamp tactic is used. Instead they are safe. But Lin Tian was in danger. Shadow attacks ignore shields. Even if Lin Tian adjusts the shield to only cover his body surface, what the shadow attacks is its own body, and then causes damage to the professional of the entity. Ignoring the defense, it is directly the feature of real damage, which is a really perverted boss mechanism. The shadow behind Lin Tian also became active. It grinned grinningly, held a sharp knife, and slashed towards Lin Tian's neck. Lin Tian is not the main combat class. The grade is also very low. This could be fatal. To be honest, Lin Tian has nothing to do with the shadow of hero at this time. He was even ready to change his life with the tear of Eden orange outfit. At the critical moment, Ling Xuer raised her staff and cast a spell on Lin Tian. The next moment, Lin Tian's shadow swung down the knife in his hand. Puff. It was the sound of blood spurting out of the neck. However, Lin Tian himself found that he didn't feel any pain at all. Is it because my head has been severed and I can't feel the pain? No. Lin Tian saw it. He saw the red line appearing on Ling Xuer's fair neck not far away. Then, the next moment, a lot of blood was spurted out. The girl let out a muffled snort. Her consciousness instantly became lax. Her eyes closed slowly, and she fell limply to the ground. Such a scene, anyone who looks at it will be worried. Lin Tian is no exception. In the blink of an eye, Lin Tian guessed it. This should be the effect of the spell that Ling Xuer cast on herself. Sure enough, Lin Tian soon saw a gain buff like an angel spreading its wings in his status bar. Noble sacrifice. Transfer all the damage you receive to the caster. Lin Tian was touched. He had a very good impression of Ling Xuer. What a pure girl. And the dungeon is also very professional. She is a reliable treatment. Just now when Wen Ya and the others were in a mess, only Ling Xuer was calmly providing treatment to her teammates, and she didn't fail. Lin Tian has seen too many women encounter crises. Other than yelling, they just go crazy. Doesn't do anything to make things better. Ling Xuer is also about the same age as herself, not as experienced as Wen Ya, and has experienced big winds and waves. So it's not easy for her to do this. It's just that Lin Tian didn't expect that she would do this for herself. Seeing the healers in their team collapsed, the Wen Ya 8 were completely panicked. Knowing that it was useless, they still used various long-range attacks to continuously attack the creeping shadow behind Lin Tian. However, the shadow of Sirocco seems to have no body at all, and attacks are futile. The atmosphere gradually became hopeless. At this moment, Ling Xuer, who fell on the ground, maintained her last shred of reason. She didn't let herself just pass out like this. She first applied a healing technique to herself, and the terrible wound on her neck began to heal quickly. At the same time, Ling Xuer gritted her teeth and gave Lin Tianyi a floating technique, and finally created several balls of light around him, minimizing his shadow. Priests also know how to levitate. This is a main battle class that uses staffs, and they basically know low-level spells. At the same time, Ling Xuer did not forget. The noble sacrifice buff on Lin Tian is almost gone. She gave Lin Tian another shot before the buff disappeared. Let all the damage that Lin Tian suffered be transferred to her again. So, relying on Ling Xuer's heaven-defying healing capacity and various auxiliary spells, Lin Tian was forced to become immortal by her. But Ling Xuer herself had various scars appearing on her body one after another. Ling Xuer gritted her teeth, endured the pain, and managed not to shed a single tear. Control your blood volume. Only when her blood volume does not take a sip, and she will enter a near-death state of unconsciousness, will she give herself a sip of treatment. At other times, her treatment is given to Lin Tian. Ling Xuer didn't know what kind of madness she was. In her little mind now, all that is left is the idea of completing the task and protecting Lin Tian. And the shadowless lamp tactics mentioned by Lin Tian are not invincible. The monsters lurking in the shadows of everyone have not disappeared, but have been weakened. But it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So Ling Xuer is under a lot of pressure. The shadow of Sirocco seemed to have also entered a state of rage. Keep attacking. The main target of the attack is Lin Tian, and of course other people standing under the shadowless lamp. When you covered her mouth, her face showing an unbearable expression, she knew that this was not a long-term solution at all. Sure enough, over time, everyone in the dungeon found that Ling Xuer could hardly hold on anymore. It's not that her healing is not enough. It's because her mana is not enough. Frequently releasing various spells, it is also to create light balls, to heal others, and to give Lin Tianshu the buff of damage transfer. Her mana is close to bottoming out. Everybody knows. Once Ling Xuer's treatment is empty, that is the beginning of group destruction. The light ball will disappear, the shadow will expand again, and the damage transfer buff will disappear. Lin Tian will die, and everyone else will die in the end. There is only despair in Wen Yu's heart. This is just a 10-person book. A dungeon with king-level difficulty. Why are they so unlucky to meet an apostle clone in this dungeon? And the mechanism of this apostle clone is terrifying. There is no way to deal with it. Finally, the last moment has come. In the team panel, Ling Xuer's mana is only the last trace left. Her blood volume is only 20%. If she takes 10% of the total blood damage, she will fall into a near-death state and lose consciousness. This battle is over. The other side. Lin Tian's blood volume is full. The buff duration of the noble sacrifice is about 5 or 6 seconds. Fate came to a crossroads. Ling Xuer's choice will affect the future fate of everyone present. Give yourself a sip of milk, or... It seems that the answer to this question does not need to be thought about at all. The extremely weak Ling Xuer raised her staff. Her sapphire staff glowed with golden holy light for the last time. Her blood didn't move anymore. But the noble sacrifice buff on Lin Tian. The duration is refreshed again. Ling Xuer closed her eyes, quietly waiting for death to come. Her last spell is to choose to leave the hope of life to Lin Tian. Watching the battle in the meeting room, there was no sound. Everyone saw this scene. Really heartbroken. Asterisk, ha ha ha. Carrot, ha 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 ha. The weird and alluring female voice resounds throughout the entire dark forest dungeon. Go to hell, scum. The shadow clone of the sixth apostle Sirik is extremely arrogant. It swung the butcher knife, and it was about to end the lives of Ling Xuer and others. However, the next moment, its pupil shrank. From the corner of its eye, it saw the life professional who knew nothing and was only level 10. Carefully dropped the red reagent from one test tube into another flask. Drip. It was the sound of a drop of water falling. This sound was insignificant, a dripping sound so subtle that no one would notice it. But it seems to be infinitely magnified in the empty and endless night sky. The moment the red water drop touched the liquid in the flask, it completely dyed the colorless liquid in the flask red. The final step in potion preparation. The next moment, the liquid in the flask burst into a terrifying rainbow of light. Colorful lights soaring into the sky. All the darkness in the dungeon, at this moment, is all illuminated. The divine light at this moment almost pushes the shadow of Xyloch back to the limit. It screamed, and white smoke billowed out from its phantom body. This is the first time someone has caused damage to it in this dungeon. However, this is just the beginning. The divine light soared into the sky, and the strange purple moon on the sky was like a flower in a mirror, and the moon in the water shattered in the blink of an eye. In the sky, stars appeared. Then the galaxy is bright. The stars line up and swim. Another phantom of the giant god appeared. The supreme phantom comes to the world, and all things will surrender. Apostle? Is it awesome? As long as you are not a god, you have to surrender. Bow your knees. What's more, what appeared in the dungeon at this moment was just a shadow clone of the Apostle Sherlock. The Supreme Phantom in the sky is fundamentally different from the phantom that Lin Fan created for the first time before Li's summoned by engineering. This is evident from the constellation of stars that make up her body. This deity, who is also the supreme god, has a more slender figure and should be a female deity. This deity is supposed to be the personal equivalent of the tall, muscular engineering supreme that came before him. And at the moment of appearance, Lin Fan conveyed a trace of demeanor. Lin Fan still couldn't understand what she wanted to express, but it doesn't matter. In such a scene, he is invincible. Lin Fan discovered it a long time ago, when I created a mythical creation for the first time, causing the vision of heaven and earth and the phantom of the giant god descending. Both will form a super suppressive effect on the creatures present. If this is used well, just like now, it can be used as Lin Fan's own super control skill. As long as you are not a god, you have to lie on your stomach for more than 10 seconds. Kneel. Don't even try to move. But Lin Fan is not affected. Therefore, the last blow of the shadow of Xyloch to Ling Xuer was stuck in midair and did not come out. Lin Fan looked at the 2 extra bottles of mythical potion in his hand. After seeing the properties of the red potion, he flashed a confident smile. He is convinced that what he holds in his hand at this moment can save everything. Jedi comeback. Lin Fan took 2 bottles of life potion exuding colorful lights and walked towards Ling Xuer, who fell on the ground. Gently lifted her up from the ground. The girl's face is frighteningly pale now. Being gently supported by Lin Fan could feel her trembling because of the pain. His whole body was covered with scars, and he was dressed in a pure white priest's robe. At this moment, there were spots of bright red blood all over his body. Lin Fan looked a little distressed. In particular, her last spell is to set herself with a damage transfer buff instead of breastfeeding herself. It means that this girl is really going all out, planning to trade her life for her life. Lin Fan gently pried Ling Xuer's lips open, then tilted the mythical life potion in his hand and poured it into her mouth. 048. The medicine was drunk by Ling Xuer at the same time. The vision of heaven and earth and the terrifying phantom of the giant god disappeared. The phantom of Sherlock, who couldn't hold back for a long time, seemed to have gained the ability to move again. Even if it's just a clone, its consciousness may also have a connection with the ontology. As an apostle, suppress submission like a pig or dog. It can't stand it. Die, 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 die. The shadow of Xyloch frantically waved the dagger in his hand at Lin Fan. The shadow of Sherlock is completely insane, crazy and mad at every vital point on Lin Fan's body. Puff, puff, puff. Lin Fan was not injured, but Ling Xuer was injured instead of him. Because at this moment, the noble sacrifice buff effect on Lin Fan will disappear in more than 10 seconds. However, Ling Xuer, who fell on the ground at this moment, was as angry as a spring. The life value has really reached the point of exhaustion. She should definitely die after being stabbed by the shadow of Sherlock. In the meeting room where the field battle is taking place, the atmosphere is a bit heavy. Chang'an closed his eyes. Even if it's a mythical potion, it shouldn't have the effect of bringing the dead back to life. Girl of the Ling family, what a pity. I don't know how sad and furious the head of the Ling family will be when he learns of his daughter's death. Think about how to deal with the aftermath. She also died to protect the country's key protection targets, and she deserves a decent burial. Just for a moment. Chang'an and Wu Fengchong have already started to plan how to deal with Ling Xuer's funeral. Minus 8,964. Minus 9,647. Minus 8,875. A series of scarlet damage numbers emerged from Ling Xuer's head. As a crispy cloth armor class, Ling Xuer doesn't have much HP. Just over 30,000. Her blood bar was already empty, and according to common sense calculations, the shadow of Jian Luoka is less than 30,000. One knife can send her to death. However, everyone was shocked to find out there is only a trace of Ling Xuer's blood left. Really just a trace. The specific number is 1/31034. One drop of blood. Last drop of blood. But this drop of blood will never drop to 0 points again. Shadow of Sherlock. Ling Xuer, the person who could create the holy light ball, fell down. The light ball she created before has already expired, so the shadowless lamp tactic has long been self-defeating. The space fell into night again, and the shadows re-expanded. The current shadow of Sherlock is the strongest state that has not been suppressed. It didn't believe in evil, and didn't continue to attack Lin Fan. Instead, they turned to attack Ling Shuer herself. 640 is another series of red damage numbers popping up. Everyone was sure that the attack of the Shadow of Shilua did not fail. It indeed caused damage to Ling Shuer. However, Ling Shuer's blood volume remained unchanged. 1. That's 1. Lock blood. It seems that an invisible god sent down the law. Make her health never drop to 0. At this moment, everyone understands. Among the effects of Lin Tian's mythical potion, there must be one effect, which is to lock blood. Xin Yuancheng only felt his scalp go numb. What is the concept of blood lock? That is eternal life. Don't die. I just don't know how long this effect will last. But even if this effect only lasts for a few minutes, it is enough to defy the sky. This is equivalent to giving an invincible buff, so that professionals no longer need to worry about any damage. Just eat hard. Use this to gain time to output or perform your own tasks. This strategic value is simply inestimable. This kid can surprise him every time. The effect of every creation is against the sky. Xin Yuancheng's guess was not wrong. The red potion that Lin Tian drank for Ling Shuer, also known as the red potion, had a simple name. Only 2 words, eternal. Eternal type, consumables level, LV.1 grade, myth use, drink the potion. Effect 1. Recover 10% of your total blood volume every second, lasting for 1 hour. Effect 2. In the next 1 hour, your blood volume will not drop below 1. Effect 3. After the above medicinal effects are over, a permanent gain buff will be given. Eternal Asylum. Remarks. Eternal Asylum. Invalidate the settlement result that will reduce your HP to less than 1 once. This bottle only has LV1 level red medicine. The effect lives up to its name. Within an hour, the person who drank the potion briefly touched the eternal law. Within 1 hour, lock the blood. Don't die. Eternal life. Moreover, the most frightening thing is that the recovery amount of this bottle of red medicine has completely exploded all other red medicines. The recovery amount of most red medicines will definitely fluctuate depending on the quality of the raw materials and the level of the manufacturer. But no matter how floating, it also floats within a certain range of values. For example, LV1 level red medicine, even if it is made by a national scholar level power, can only restore 500 points of health. This is the limit of that bottle of potion. However, Lin Tian's mythical level broke all comforts and boundaries. Percent response. Even for those professionals with extremely high blood volume, it is priceless. Because for those blood cows with hundreds of thousands of blood and millions of blood, ordinary red medicine is really no different from garbage. Fewer replies and CDs. But Lin Tian's recovery of 10% in seconds is an exaggeration, and it lasts for 60 minutes and returns 10% in seconds. If you really want to maximize the recovery amount, you can simply count it as a bottle of medicine, which can restore 360 times the upper limit of blood volume. Lin Tian's bottle of mythical red medicine has one last effect. Permanently give the drinker an effect equivalent to the Tear of Eden he is currently wearing. The percentage recovery is the effect of the potion. 1 hour blood lock can be regarded as the effect of the mixture. Obtaining a permanent death-free buff is completely the permanent effect of the potion. And this potion has no side effects, so don't be afraid to degenerate into a follower of evil gods. Under the influence of Eternal, the Shadow of Sherlock is desperate. It did not continue to attack. It is precisely because it did not continue to attack. The effect of recovering 10% of the blood volume in seconds gradually appeared. Ling Shuer woke up soon. Her eyelashes fluttered slightly. She opened her eyes and saw Lin Tian, who was looking at him in front of her. This girl didn't know what she thought of. Tears welled up in his eyes instantly. Then he burst into tears. Sorry. My mission failed. I couldn't save you in the end. Ling Shuer thought that she had failed, and seeing Lin Tian now, she must be in another world. The world of the dead. She heard that people go to another world after death. Of course, Lin Tian couldn't understand the brain circuit of this girl. No, I want to thank you. You saved me. You saved yourself. You saved everyone. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to wait until the mythical potion was made, and I wouldn't be able to try it out for you. Ling Shuer was stunned. Am I not dead? Isn't Lin Tian dead? After accepting that he is still in the Yang world and has not gone to the underworld, she burst into tears instantly. It's great not to die. Afterwards, Ling Shuer saw the only 2 buff effects in her current status bar. Her eyes widened sharply. Eternal Touch. Your HP will not drop below 1. Remaining time. 59 minutes and 27 seconds. Eternal Asylum. You can nullify an attack that reduces your blood volume below 0. Remaining time. Infinity. At this moment, Tian coughed awkwardly. Ahem. I just made a bottle of eternal potion and gave it to you to drink. My damage transfer buff is about to expire. Lin Tian is reminding Ling Xuer, if you don't get up to nurse me again, give me a damage transfer buff, and the shadow of Sherlock will attack me later, and I will be done for. Although Ling Xuer's blood volume has not yet fully recovered, but her consciousness has been sober, and during the time she fell to the ground, she still recovered about 5% of her mana. The mana of the priest and mage professions is much higher than the blood volume. Although Ling Xuer only has a blood volume of just over 30,000, her mana volume is more than 300,000. 5% is enough for her to release many skills. Ling Xuer's staff lit up, and the next moment, the noble sacrifice buff on Lin Tian's body refilled the cup. The duration changed to 1 minute again. Not only that, Ling Xuer's multicasting spells selected the other 8 friendly targets in the field. CJCC was when Ya and the others who were also seriously injured and fell to the ground. She knew that she had some eternal power now. Her blood volume would not drop to 0, and she would never die until the potion time expired. So, of course she chose to give it to the other 8 people, and they also used the damage transfer buff of Noble Sacrifice. Under normal circumstances, this buff is really bad for priests because the pastor himself is also a big crispy skin. Transferring the harm of others to yourself is really courting death. But just like the name of this skill, pastors have a noble spirit of sacrifice. They would rather bear the suffering instead of their companions themselves, and hope that their companions will be safe as before. This is the original intention of this skill. And now Ling Xuer has applied this buff to 9 people, which means that the damage of 9 people on the field will be transferred to her alone at the same time. It is equivalent to a 9 times vulnerable debuff. But so what? I won't die again. All the people on the sidelines of the battle were stunned. They briefly sorted out the existing situation. First of all, Ling Xuer drank the eternal potion, which locks the blood and makes her immortal. Then she gave the other 9 people a buff that transferred damage. The injuries of others were all transferred to her who was not deadlocked. F***K. Isn't this invincible? You have a card bug. Leadership. Communications restored. Good news came one after another. It turned out to be those people in the technical department, after unremitting efforts. Finally, the communication inside and outside the dungeon was completely restored. Zuan Yuanqing immediately told Lin Tianhe the information about the 6th apostle to Wan Ya who had already awakened. Ling Xuer not only gave everyone a damage transfer buff, but also raised everyone's bloodline to the point where they could wake up. However, another problem emerged. With only 5% mana, she can do so many things, which is enough to defy the sky. Therefore, Ling Xuer's mana has bottomed out again. And her mana recovery speed is not enough to refresh the damage transfer effect on the 9 people again. As long as the shadow of Sherlock seizes the flaws and breaks them one by one, it will still end in annihilation. However, at this time, Lin Tian took out another bottle of blue potion exuding colorful streamers. Drink it. Ling Xuer trusts Lin Tian very much. Without any hesitation, he drank the bottle of blue medicine. The effect of this bottle of blue medicine should not be exaggerated compared to the previous red medicine. The bottomed-out blue slot will return to full value in just an instant. There is no doubt that the effect of this bottle of medicine is to restore MP, but I don't know if it is a fixed value or a percentage. Ling Xuer, who is full of blue again, started her healing show. The staff waved again and again, including Lin Tian. Everyone's bodies are covered with various golden spells of the holy light system and green spells of the natural system, flashing one after another like ghosts and animals. In an instant, the entire 10-person team and everyone's blood volume returned to full capacity. What's even more exaggerated is that Ling Xuer's mana has hardly changed. Full. Still full. All of Ling Xuer's skills seem to have not been consumed, and Blue Star doesn't fluctuate even a little bit. Cooperate with her own characteristics of multiple casting and instant casting. It is really a humanoid self-propelled treatment machine. The name of the blue potion made by Lin Tian only has 2 words. Unlimited. Unlimited type. Consumables level. LV.1 grade. Myth use. Drink the potion. Effect 1. Restore your main energy value to 100%. Effect 2. In the next 1 hour, the consumption of all your skills will be reduced by 100%. Effect 3. After the above drug effects are over, give a permanent gain buff. Infinite blessing. Remarks. Blessing of infinity. After you release all skills and consume your main energy value, 10% of the consumption will be refunded, just like the name of this potion. It can make your energy endless, because it solves the problem of energy exhaustion from the root, because skills need to consume energy, and unlimited directly obliterated the consumption of all skills. All consumption has become zero. Note that there are many things worth digging for this zero. First of all, eternity is more than changing the skill consumption of mage professionals to zero. Many special occupations, such as thieves, consume energy points. Energy, no matter how high the level of the thieves is, their energy limit is always 100 after using skills to deduct the energy. Rogue professionals can only wait for the energy value to slowly recover, unless they turn on explosive skills such as violent energy, which doubles the recovery speed of energy. But even if it is an explosive skill that can only be used after awakening, such as violent energy, not as good as 1/10,000th of the unlimited effect. Just imagine how terrifying a professional thief and assassin who is always full of energy will be. It is an agile profession in itself. High attack speed plus no CD skills. It is simply how fast your hand speed is, how many times you can release skills. It is not as simple as doubling the output. What's even more against the sky is the permanent buff effect. Infinity brings to everyone who takes it. All skills will return 10% of the consumption. This is fundamentally different from reducing the consumption of all skills by 10%. The former is affected by some special equipment effects, such as the entry that increases your energy recovery by XX%. Maybe the final skill recovery energy value is higher than 10%. Now, Ling Xuer's HP will not be reduced below 0. Then all her skills cost 0 points. The last piece of the invincible puzzle was also assembled by Lin Fan. Ling Xuer kept throwing damage transfer buffs to everyone, and at the same time ensured that her blood volume was always higher than 10%, so that she would not enter a coma. It's done. Invincible is done. Everyone outside the arena was stunned. Is this game still playable like this? Lin Fan's 2 bottles of medicine forcibly brought back the situation of Tianbing. It seems that you are not really invulnerable, are you? Your weakness should be that you are afraid of light. Lin Fan didn't forget that the moment he made the mythical red medicine and blue medicine, the dazzling colorful divine light still caused damage to the shadow of Zylok. 049. Lin Fan's smile looked like a devil in the eyes of the shadow of Sherlock. This human being is too sharp and too smart. Today, it could have done a carnage. But this human has repeatedly ruined its good deeds. Now it really made him guess his own weakness. It is indeed not invincible, as long as the brightness of the light is high enough. It just hurts. And the dungeon of Dark Forest is just a level 50 king level dungeon. The upper limit of the dungeon's difficulty is locked by the will of heaven. Even if it messes into this dungeon, it becomes a hidden boss in the dungeon. But you can't break this rule, so it doesn't have much blood. The divine light that Lin Fan used to make the mythical potion directly burned nearly 1/3 of the blood volume of the shadow of Hero. I don't know. If you eat a mythical grenade from me, can you still withstand it? The main power of the grenade comes from the high temperature and shockwave generated by the explosion. But the glare of the explosion is not to be underestimated. Lin Fan just grasped this point. He just planned to give it a try, to see how many nuclear explosions this so-called apostle can withstand. Lin Fan twisted the particle shield generator on his waist. Protect everyone in the shield. Then, with a flip of his wrist, a pitch-black mythical grenade appeared in his palm. Lin Fan didn't talk nonsense. Pull the ring of the grenade directly. Hold down the pressure lever of the grenade with the thumb of your right hand. As long as he lets go, the thing will explode after 5 seconds. Lin Fan let go of the pressure lever and threw the grenade high into the sky. He wants an air blast. This is the detonation method that can cause maximum damage to the shadow projected on the ground. 5, 4, 3. Lin Fan counted silently in his heart, quietly waiting for the arrival of the nuclear explosion. And the shadow of Zylok was completely confused. What is this human doing? Grenade? Just a grenade. Exploded. That grenade exploded. For a moment, in the sky, there is a round of brilliant sun. The terrible glare made the shadow of Sherlock lurking in the shadows no longer a place to hide. Can only be exposed to such a terrible bright light. It screamed. White smoke billows from its incorporeal body. Its blood volume is dropping rapidly. At this time, Lin Fan said lightly, "Send a message to your body. You should be able to contact the main body, right?" Lin Fan stretched out a finger, pointing at the shadow body of Sherlock that slowly dissipated in the strong light like the scorching sun. He said sonorously, "The world-class dungeon of Dragon Kingdom's first strategy is Elon Hill, the kingdom of eternal night. Sixth Apostle Sirocco, you are dead." I said it. Even Jesus can't save you. The strong light completely drowned out all shadows. The shadow of Shilua can only be turned into dust and smoke in the unwillingness and anger, and it will completely dissipate. The air blast nuclear bomb shock wave swept across the entire dark jungle dungeon. It was as if the sky had been shattered. The night and the eerie purple moon all disappeared. The copy changes from night to day again. All the monsters in the dungeon have dissipated. Generally, if this sign appears, it means that the last boss has been killed, and the entire dungeon has been cleared, and there is no threat. Ding. Hidden boss. The sixth apostle, the shadow of Sirocco, was successfully killed. Dungeon. Dark forest successfully cleared. Start to settle the dungeon customs clearance experience value reward. It is detected that 95% of the exclusive experience contracts in the team are in effect. Experience point rewards have been issued. Ding. 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 3 streaks of golden light emerged from Lin Fan's body one after another. With just one instance of customs clearing and settlement, he was directly promoted to 3 levels in a row. The dungeon level of the Dark Forest is too high, and now he can be regarded as a leapfrog kill. Not only does he have no experience penalty, but there is a reward bonus. Start to settle item rewards based on the performance of this dungeon clearance. Settlement completed. This customs clearance evaluation, completion, 98.23%, evaluation, S. Clearing time, 2 hours, 12 minutes and 7 seconds evaluation, A. Hidden level triggers. An extra level of dungeon evaluation. Comprehensive evaluation, SS. Reward. An orange treasure chest. After all the rewards have been settled, you can stay in the instance for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, you will be forced to send out the instance. A series of reminders sounded in everyone's mind. The next moment, a blue portal suddenly appeared. At the other end of the portal, there is obviously the scene of the dungeon entrance before Lin Fan and others came in. At the same time, a treasure chest emitting orange light was refreshed beside the portal. This kind of radiant treasure chest means that if you open it, you will be able to get an orange outfit, rare level, for sure. Except for this treasure chest. Hidden the shadow of boss 6th Apostle Sirocco, also exploded equipment. It was an unknown stone that also emitted a faint red light. When you walked in front of Lin Fan, her face was full of apology and guilt. "Brother, I'm really sorry. I'm too incompetent. Let this dungeon clearance be so thrilling, and even almost wiped out. If it wasn't for you and that little pastor sister, I might die here too." Several other people also came up and nodded one after another. "As the protectors and the people who take you to upgrade, we are indeed incompetent, and we will resign from this job when we go back. It will also let the forces represented behind us compensate you. Sorry again." When you really felt her cheeks burning hot. Really incompetent. Lin Fan shook his head and said with a smile, "The dungeon can pass the customs. Each of us has put in effort. I don't think you are incompetent. An accident happened. No one thought of it. Don't say anything about resigning. I'm very happy that you took me to leveling. Continue to take me to leveling. At least take me to the 2nd rank first." Lin Fan said a few words. "Move the others." When Yu's eye circles were a little red, she turned her head and smiled. "Okay, as long as you don't dislike it." The girls laughed lightly again. The atmosphere of the team returned to the relaxed atmosphere at the beginning. But in fact, they all admired and convinced Lin Fan even more. It is no longer just treating Lin Fan as an object of protection. Afterwards, it was a happy part of the spoils. An orange weapon was opened from the orange treasure chest. It's a pity that the level is only 50, and it's a warrior-type sword, so Lin Fan can't use it. But looking at the attributes, it is indeed a top-notch weapon at level 50. This is sold in a commercial store, and it is also a price of tens of millions. In the end, the 9 people unanimously discussed that all the income from the dungeon will not be divided, and all will be exchanged for money for Lin Fan. As for the stone that fell from the shadow of Sherlock exuding strong black shadow pollution, when you also read it, Elon Hill's Ruins of Destruction, type, miscellaneous, rank, legend, red. Description. An ordinary city gate stone before Elon Hill entered the eternal night. There is a strong corrupt atmosphere on it. The person who holds it can use mystic knowledge to resonate with it, and can open it at any time to go to Elam Hill's door. There is no question about this stuff. It turned out to be a dungeon key. and it is the key to unlock Ellen Hill, the Kingdom of Eternal Night. With this thing, the Dragon Kingdom official can take the initiative, even if the Kingdom of Eternal Night doesn't take the initiative to open the dungeon entrance. They can also use this rune stone to open the passage to the Kingdom of Eternal Night. Lin Tian's copy has been cleared. It takes another half an hour to return to Jiangning. However, in the conference room of the Jiangning Municipal Building, when everyone came back to their senses, they realized that the clothes on their backs had long been soaked in cold sweat. They didn't dare to imagine that if it wasn't for Lin Tian's quick wit in adversity and Ling Xuer's healing profession, and most importantly, the mythical potion made by Lin Tian, they all fell into deep self-blame, especially the head of the first Wu Fong of Dongjiang province who was sitting on the main seat. At this moment, he was already ashamed and emotional. It's all my fault. I was too anxious. If you give us a few more days to find more powerful people and my more powerful equipment, He Chang'an, the director of the Dongjiang Education Department, also sighed. Don't talk about it. I am responsible. I have been calling the Long State Education and Education Administration for the past few days, reminding them to quickly review the relevant information about Lin Tian I reported, and through the investigation of Lin Tian's national-level special talents. With S-level treatment, I still make fewer calls. If this time, with the help of national power, the shadow of the apostle will not be a problem in any country. All declarations are subject to procedures. It is impossible to say that there is something that can reach heaven in one step. Therefore, even if a meeting was held for Lin Tian the afternoon before yesterday, and he went directly to the express and expedited procedure on the same day, it may be reported layer by layer according to various approval procedures. The report and application written by He Chang'an may have just been delivered to the desk of the head of the Long State Education and Education Department. The Dragon Kingdom has a total of 39 provinces and 600 to 700 base cities. It will definitely take at least a week to really deal with it. So even if He Chang'an has always been very caring, opened up the relationship between the various rings, and kept reminding the General Administration of Education and Education to review it as soon as possible, it was not so fast. I'll go directly to Daijing to submit my resignation letter, and then remind the chief in person, we must never bury a talent like Lin Tian. He Chang'an's eyes were red. Obviously, he's really on top. Boom. There was a muffled sound. It was Xinyuan Cheng. He was the calm one among the three. What are you doing? What are you doing? Who are you acting for? Are you slapping me in the face? Most of the people in the team are members of our military. You mean my Great Wall Army is a bunch of idiots, all trash? Su Tianlong and others watched the three big brothers quarrel and blushed. Totally don't know what to do. In the end, it was Li Ming, Taihanin, who was fearless and fearless, raised his hands and said, Leaders, General Xinyuan, ask for flowers. I'm a rough man. I don't know why you should blame yourself. I don't think you've done anything wrong, and neither have we. This is a new copy. No one knows what it looks like inside. We have done enough contingency plans and preparations, but it still happened accident. This accident has been resolved now, and the result is still good. The only thing I think we should do is face up to our inadequacy. The limit of our entire Dongjiang is almost like this. Things beyond our limits, we can only do our best. Let the fate be assured. Li Ming's words made Xinyuan Cheng and the others calm down. In the end, He Chang'an sighed. It is true that we are not capable enough. The strongest in our province does not even have a master level. It is true that we have dragged Lin Fu down. Turning to the transcendent realm 3 times is the first qualitative change in a professional's life. And after 5 turns, that is, after level 150, it is the second leap of life level. The period before the 5th turn to the 7th turn is collectively referred to as the Grandmaster realm. Looking at the whole country, there are thousands of professionals who have reached the level of masters, but there is not even one in Dongjiang. It can only be said that this is the consequence of extremely uneven development. Due to the geographical location of the Dongjiang River, it was originally located in the southeast. This place was in the last civilization era. Because it is adjacent to the sea, it is one of the best developed provinces in the Dragon Kingdom. There are several top prosperous big cities in the country. However, after the cataclysmic era, being close to the seaside is not an advantage, but the most terrible disadvantage. Because ghosts know how terrifying the monsters in the sea are. Global shipping and ships have all but disappeared. Therefore, most of the professionals above the Grandmaster level appear in more developed provinces. 00 After He Chang'an finished speaking, he stood up and planned to leave. Old He, why are you going? Xinyuan Cheng is a little worried. This old thing won't be really hard to think about. Let's go. He Chang'an. Call. Hit until the boss picks up. If he doesn't answer, I'll take a few mythical grenades and go directly to the Imperial capital to find him. Shut his face. Imperial capital. Where is the safest base city in Dragon Country? That Daijing said that he was the second, and the other base cities would never dare to say that they were the first. Imperial capital is currently the largest and most prosperous base city in Dragon Kingdom. The resident population has even exceeded 100 million. Longhua General Administration of Education Building. 129 floors. The office of the head of the Longhua Education Department. A declaration document from Dongjiang Province has been on his desk for more than half a day. Even on this document, several other documents have already been pressed. The busyness of the Longhua General Administration of Education is beyond the imagination of ordinary people. After all, it is related to the education of the entire country. They have to manage the enrollment of various colleges and universities. The request for instructions and letters submitted by various colleges and universities every day need to be reviewed. They also have to organize the awakening ceremony for tens of millions of students across the country every year. The annual college entrance examination can make all the staff of the entire education department busy and healthy. Therefore, Li Shishan, the chief executive, is even busier. Basically have to work until late night every day. Li Shishan does not regret it. After all, every decision he makes will determine the future of a country, and in the long run, it will determine the rise and fall of honor and disgrace. Boom, boom, boom. There was a knock on the office door. A secretary in black professional attire came in again holding a stack of folders. Her ear was pressed against her shoulder, holding a mobile phone, obviously answering someone's call. Master Chief is really busy. We understand your anxiety, but don't worry, we won't miss any report or letter. Hey, Director He, I really can't help it. Mr. President is in a meeting, so I really can't answer your call. I will definitely convey your words to the president. After speaking, the secretary hung up the phone. Li Shishan. What's the matter? Whose call is it? He didn't accuse the secretary of this operation, because there are thousands of people across the country who want to call him. If he answers every call, it will really be answering the phone 24 hours a day. So the general secretary will help him shirk it. Then ask how important it is. There is no way, there are too many things, and we can only do them in order according to priorities. He Chang'an from Dongjiang Province called Director He. He called every half an hour. This is already the 10th call today. Li Shishan. That may be really urgent. Did he ask me to do anything? The secretary nodded. He asked you to see what he reported to you the day before yesterday about a super genius talent. On behalf of Dongjiang, he also officially submitted to you the application for this year's national-level special talent training program. Li Shishan pondered for a moment, calculating the time. It seems that it is indeed almost time for the provinces to apply for national and national quotas for special talents every year. However, there are no application channels open yet. This He Chang'an. You are still so frizzy and unruly. The secretary bowed and said, then, my lord, do you need me to reject their applications? 050. Li Shishan closed his eyes, thought for a moment, and waved his hand. Say no. The secretary nodded and retreated from his office. Rejecting and reposting is to cause trouble for others, but it is out of order to directly review the application for this quota now. After all, other provinces haven't reported it yet, so it's really biased for him to do so. Unexpectedly, the secretary who had just left knocked on his door again. Mr. President, this is a prop we just received from the Dongjiang Provincial Department of Education and Education. It should be very important. Please take a look. The secretary handed over a sealed bag, and Li Shishan instantly saw the red glowing stone. After seeing the properties of the stone, his pupils dilated. The dungeon key of the Kingdom of Eternal Night. Why Dongjiang got this kind of prop? There is also a note in the small bag, and a small box below the note. The note read, "Open the box." Li Shishan opened the box and saw a bottle of red life potion inside. He was at a loss. Compared with this legendary key of the Kingdom of Eternal Night, is there anything special about this bottle of potion? While thinking, his fingers touched the bottle of life potion. The next moment, when the word myth came into his pupils, he is completely restless. He Chang'an was originally put in the box. It is a mythical grenade. It's a pity that this show operation was stopped by others after all. He made 20 or 30 phone calls today, but was surprised by various staff members of the General Administration of Education who came back from Tai Chi. His lungs were about to explode. His original words were, "I just want to send him a grenade." Anyway, his old eyes are dim, and he can't see clearly what is a real genius. What is the future of Dragon Kingdom? Fortunately, He Chang'an didn't say this in front of many people. Otherwise, it would be enough for him to drink a pot. In the end, several people discussed and asked Lin Tian, who came back to recreate several bottles of mythical potions. Compare with engineering, 883 pharmacy has a very big advantage. That is, as long as the materials are sufficient, the total amount of the prepared medicine can be divided into multiple vials, and at the same time have a complete medicine effect. For example, Lin Tian got enough materials and directly made a large jar of eternity. Then divide this into more than 40 bottles of liquid medicine with a content of about 100 milliliters. These 40 bottles of medicine can take effect on 40 people. At the moment Li Shishan is holding it in his hand, it is a 100 milliliters bottle of eternity. The more Li Shishan looked at it, the more frightened he became. He even felt that his breathing was getting rough. Mythical level? Mythical class. This is an item grade that he has never seen before. Yes, even at the national level. Li Shishan is already one of the few people who can look at the entire Dragon Kingdom and stand at the top. He has never seen a mythical class either. In his inherent concept, the epic level is the highest item level. Whether it is consumables, life occupation creations, or equipment. Even in some dungeons, there are temporary equipment rewarded because of the mechanism. The highest is only the golden epic level. It is the dream of many people to own an epic piece of equipment. Of course, they can only dream. Because so far, Blue Star has rated the world's strongest top 100 equipment rankings every year. This is assessed by the heavenly will behind the job-changing God Stone released every year. Among the top 100 pieces of equipment in the entire Blue Star, only 79 pieces are of epic level. This is enough to show that at present, the global stock of epic equipment is only 79 pieces. And among the 79 pieces in the Dragon Kingdom, there are only 7 or 8 pieces. All of them can only be obtained by professional bosses in the Saint Realm. So mythical. Is it above the epic level? Li Shishan began to ask himself questions. If the answer to this question is no, then the effect of the potion in front of him is to slap him in the face. A bottle of LV1 red medicine. Can you frankly lock the blood for 1 hour? Can you G give me a permanent death-free buff? And if the answer to this question is yes, then something even more terrifying came. Who did it? There is no copy or wild monster that will drop life potion. So far, the only source of consumables such as life potions can only be made by life professionals. Is there really someone who can make a mythical potion? With this question in mind, Li Shishan began to frantically throw the mountains of documents on the table to the ground. Never mind. See you later. He doesn't want to sort out and read through each one. Just call someone to sort it out later. Now he can only think about one thing. That is to find the important documents submitted to him by the Dongjiang Education Department. But the more anxious people are, the more likely they are to make mistakes. When Li Shishan became a desktop cleaning master, when I threw all the important documents on the table to the ground, I didn't find that document. He's going crazy. The female secretary on the other side is stupid. Master Chief? What's the matter? Her panic before was just seeing the piece of legendary material emitting red light. That thing is related to the Kingdom of Eternal Night, the core issue that plagues the top leaders of the Dragon Kingdom now. It was the fact that Elon Hill, the Kingdom of Eternal Night, had frequent activities in Asia and caused a large number of casualties. This is the current confidant of the Dragon Kingdom. If you don't get rid of it soon, it will lead to a catastrophe. That's why she hurriedly gave this thing to Li Shishan, who knew that Li Shishan just glanced at the key that could open the gate of the Kingdom of Eternal Night at any time, and then threw it aside. Instead, he was holding a bottle of ordinary life potion. Look around. Rubbing and rubbing. I'm afraid it will melt when I hold it in my hand. Then, just like going mad with epilepsy, I started throwing things. The chief is not sick, is he? Or is it just that I haven't slept well recently, and now I feel a little manic? Li Shishan is indeed a little irritable now. Looking at the frightened little secretary, he quickly raised his head and shouted, "Xiao Zhao, why are you just staring blankly? Help me find the file." "Oh, all right." Secretary Xiao Zhao hurriedly bent down to help Li Shishan find the documents. "My lord, which share are you looking for?" Although he had guesses in his heart, Xiao Zhao still asked. With a person of this level, you should not only be able to guess his thoughts, but also ask him exactly what he is thinking. Otherwise, if you make a mistake in the end, it is your problem. "It's the one you called just now. From the Dongjiang Education Department. Xiao Zhao nodded. Soon, Xiao Zhao saw the small characters of Dongjiang Education Department in a stack of documents. She looked happy, took out the document, and handed it to Li Shishan. Li Shishan also looked excited and stood up from the ground. Sit back to your seat. Open the drawer and put on your glasses. Open the first page of this report. Then, his face became serious. Instructions on selecting our province's talented student Lin Tian as the 2179 National Level Special Talent Training Place in Dongjiang Province. This is indeed a request for talent selection. But what does this have to do with mythical items? Inertial thinking is at work. So far, Li Shishan thinks so. A life professional who can concoct mythical potions must be an old man like academician Luo Tian. Doesn't connect with young people. Li Shishan could only be patient and continue watching. Open the second page. It is the detailed information that Dongjiang will select talents this time. Only 17 years old. Ordinary family. Only father. Mother missing. Life professionals? What kind of plane is Dongjiang doing? Well, wait. Lifestyle professionals? At this moment, Li Shishan's brain buzzed. He understood instantly. The person who can prepare mythical potions could not be this boy. Li Shishan continued to look down. He doesn't care about these backgrounds. Li Shishan is also a person who slowly climbed up from the bottom. He is different from most people who have been in high positions for a long time and are very concerned about being famous. His point is that heroes don't ask where they come from. What Li Shishan is looking for is Lin Tian's talent. What really affects the combat power of a professional is talent and special job transfer. Because of the ordinary talents of ordinary job transfers, the upper limit is destined to be limited within a certain range. Those who can shine must be talented. This is the law he has summed up in the decades since he became the head of the Department of Education. In this world, hard work is worthless. Only with talent, no matter how hard you work, the group is valuable. Soon, Li Shishan saw Lin Tian's talent. Hiss! The moment he saw this short line of words clearly, he felt that his heart was about to stop beating. Talent, mythical level, power of creation. All the creations you create are fixed at mythical level. What does this talent mean? It means that it is not a coincidence that this young man named Lin Tian created this mythical potion. It's not a blind cat hitting a dead mouse. It's not that he can only make mythical potions in his lifetime. This means that all the creations that have been created by him will be of mythical level in the future. Li Shishan couldn't hide his excitement. Continuing to read back, Li Shishan saw that Lin Tian's current level is level 15. After the dungeon, continue to bring leveling. Just finished one turn. In addition to the branch of pharmacy, the second branch is engineering. Li Shishan's eyes lit up. Good engineering. Rabbit loves to engage in infrastructure construction. No country in the world attaches as much importance to engineering as Dragon Country does. Maybe in the early stage of the development of the rabbit in the last era, there was no equipment, no technology, so I was afraid of poverty. Afterwards, I frantically developed my talent in engineering and engaged in infrastructure construction. Turn to the third page. A screenshot of a mythical grenade appeared in front of Li Shishan. Judging from the property screenshot, this LV1 level grenade is no big deal. The main reason is that this grenade did not write specific damage. But soon, Ji Shishan's gaze shifted to the next picture. That is the picture of the mythical grenade detonation test. Keep reading. Jiangning Beast Tide Defense Battle. The attributes of the particle shield generator suddenly appeared in front of him. Li Shishan was completely stunned. Plus billion. The maximum coverage range is 100 kilometers. This means that most of the base cities in the Dragon Kingdom can be equipped with such a particle shield generator. Energy production? Li Shishan was pleasantly surprised to find that Yun Tian can not only reproduce yin, you can even modify its shape. Does not affect the original function at all. Finally, the effect of another bottle of blue medicine is still unreasonably strong at the mythical level. A short report was quickly finished by him. On the last page of the report, there is also a USB flash drive. Li Shishan inserted the USB flash drive into the computer, and there was a video in it. This video is a full recording of Lin Tian's dungeon in the dark jungle. Li Shishan was also very nervous when he saw Lin Tian fighting against the clone of the sixth apostle. If it weren't for Lin Tian being calm and smart enough. In addition, if the mythical potion he created is enough to defy the sky, now he probably won't see this report. Good. After reading all the detailed materials reported by Dongjiang, Li Shishan patted the chair and said hello 3 times in a row. With a big wave of his hand, he spoke surprisingly. Xiao Zhao, The application process for the 10S level special talents in the country this year does not need to be open to other provinces. This year, the system will be abolished for 1 year. Secretary Xiao Zhao was stunned. Presently, we have already made a plan, and the reporting channel will be open soon. And even several provinces are already doing the primary selection process, then tell them not to do it. We haven't issued a notice yet, and they made it ahead of time. They're doing it for us. It's good if we don't punish them. Do you really think that I can get the national-level training places from the Department of Education every year? Li Shishan pointed at the table. The momentum is fierce. Having been in a high position for a long time, he can make the little secretary too frightened to say yes with a few words. Li Shishan waved his hand. The little secretary left aggrieved. Li Shishan picked up the phone on the table. A notice was sent to the people in the organization department. The ministers and principals of the various ministries are ready for a meeting. Conference content. Cancel this year's 10S level National Special Talent Training treatment, change it to 1, and upgrade the treatment to SSS level. Of course, Li Shishan will not tell them that this quota has already been set by default. Lin Tian is the candidate that Longhua will devote all efforts to cultivate this year. After hearing the news of this meeting, all the principals in charge of the entire Department of Education are all Spartans. Chow. Sir, you are not crazy. This is something that dozens of provinces across the country have to grab their heads every year. How do you say it's canceled? And reducing the quota of 10 people to 1. Isn't this going to war? After more than 10 minutes, in the conference hall of the Dragon Kingdom Higher Education Department, a group of ministers and principals from various functional departments of the Education Department were present. 0.1 Most of them are old men with gray hair. See Li Shishan coming in, call out in unison, swear to the death. Boss, you can't do it. My lord, I think this change is still to be discussed. My lord, listen to the old minister. Li Shishan stretched out his hand to stop these people from making noise. Then just open the slideshow. No bullshit. Start the slideshow, play the video. Show all aspects of Lin Tian in front of these people. After more than 10 minutes. The same people, congratulations, Chief. Master Chief, I think this change is really great. My lord, the old minister has never seen such a brilliant talent. It's great that he can be used by China. Li Shishan was also a little bit embarrassed when he saw the audience who had made a 180-degree turn in their attitudes. In fact, their starting point is the same. For the future of the Dragon Kingdom. For the future of the Dragon Kingdom. The appearance of this supernova, Lin Tian, completely convinced these people. He has this kind of magic power, which can make everyone favor him. It may also be because the future of the Dragon Kingdom was full of thorns and darkness. Lin Tian, the star, illuminates it. Of course, it is one aspect to agree to Ji Shishan's allocation of resources to Lin Tian too. On the other hand, some people also raise the question of how to deal with the aftermath. My lord, after knowing the talent of this Master Lin Tian, I think there is nothing wrong with this policy change. But if we want to carry it out, it will be difficult to convince the public without revealing the talent of Master Lin Tian. Li Shishan snorted. Then you don't need to convince the crowd. I, Li Shishan, have acted all my life. Why do I need to explain to others? The 20,000-word explosion is complete. The author has cervical spondylosis. The pain is unbearable, and he is dizzy, his hands are shaking, he can't hold it anymore. He is about to die suddenly. Rest first, and continue to explode tomorrow.
Thanks for watching. You can find the next videos in the playlist linked in the info card, directly on my channel, or right here on the screen. And as always, if you have any feedback, feel free to share it in the comments too.